week ago because of back spasms and George Brett syndrome.
It's a big plus for the Redskins to be able to rest Riggins and still win the football game. And they also got a chance to see Keith Griffin in action. He rushed for over 100 yards, and Joe Gibbs has confidence in him in the starting situation.
Eagles have won the toss. They've elected to receive, and it'll be Jeff Hayes kicking off for the Washington Redskins from the 35-yard line. This is the second meeting between the Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Washington won the first one back at RFK Stadium by a score of 20-0 in a game in which they completely manhandled the Philadelphia Eagles, and you've got to believe that that's on the mind of Philadelphia as they get ready for this second encounter. The Redskins, of course, with a record of 7-4, tied for the top spot with the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East, with the Cardinals and Giants right behind. Evan Cooper, number 21, is back. He's in the center of your screen. And Joe Hayes to the top of the screen on the kick return team for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's Jeff Hayes, who will spot it from the 35. And we are just about set. The Eagles and the Redskins. Again, it's the first sellout of the year here in Philadelphia, and we are underway. It is a high but a short kick taken by Cooper at the 5. Across the 15, and he is down at the 17-yard line. The Redskins excel on specialty teams. Mark McGrath, number 83, the first to get there for Washington. So Ron Jaworski leads out the Philadelphia Eagles. It's Hubie Oliver opening up at fullback, and a surprise, Wilbert Montgomery is not the running back.
That's right. Wilbert Montgomery's having problems with his hamstring, so they're going to go ahead and start Mike Williams at the running back position.
Jaworski so far on the season, as far as the Eagles are concerned, 16 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions. Hubie Oliver, known as the Rockman, number 34, the running back, along with Michael Williams, the youngster out of Mississippi. Tony Woodruff deployed wide to the left side for Philadelphia, and Mike Quick to the near side. Jaworski with an inside handoff to Williams, and he dances back to the 16 for a loss of 1 in the grasp of Neil Olkowitz. That tough defense, the 4-3 of the Washington Redskins.
Redskins defense has been tough to run against, mainly from their front people, led by Dave Butts in the middle, along with Darryl Grant. Dexter Manley has 10 sacks for the Redskins.
Monty Coleman, number 51, 6-year linebacker out of Central Arkansas, comes into that Redskin lineup now as they're anticipating pass. 2nd and 11 for the Eagles. Mike Quick to the top of your screen, and Tony Woodruff to the near side. That is Tony Woodruff, and he breaks it across the 20, a pickup of about 4 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and a long 7. And Monty Coleman, who just came into the game, the man that made the tackle.
Well, Monty Coleman is a specialist in passing situation, and he comes in that situation and makes a big impact with the Redskin defense when he comes into the ball game. You got to know where he lines up to be effective going against him.
Tony Woodruff, by the way, number 83, had a career-high 5 catches against the Dolphins last week in the Orange Bowl. Jaworski now looking at 3rd and 7. 5 backs, defensive backs in. Anthony Washington, number 24, the nickel back now for the Redskins. Shotgun for Jaworski. Woodruff right, Quick left. Blitz is on. Jaworski reads it, and it's almost intercepted at the 25-yard line. Mike Quick, the intended receiver on a slant-in pattern, but Anthony Washington, who just came in as the nickel back, was right there and almost came up with the interception.
See the blitz on the play. See Darryl Green on the top of your screen come from the outside. With his speed, he gets to Jaworski real quick. Jaworski lets it go. Takes a lick on the play. Incomplete pass.
Mike Horan, first-year punter out of Long Beach State, averaged 46.5 yards last week against the Dolphins, despite one 26-yarder after a fumbled snap. Will kick it away to Mike Nelms, one of the premier punt returners in the National Football League. Nelms' longest return this year, 46 yards against the Philadelphia Eagles. Darryl Green is also back. He is the up back. Low, wobbly kick. Nelms mishandles at the 47, and the Eagles get it back. Philadelphia touchdown. Mike Reichenbach. No flag. The rookie out of East Stroudsburg. Watch number 21, Nelms. Just didn't get to the ball. Now one of the Eagles comes up and has a shot at it, and he takes Nelms out of the play, and there is Reichenbach, the rookie. However, on a muff, there is no advance.
No advance on the play, but it's very seldom you see Mike Nelms back there fumble a football. I think the man back...
That's the ball. Philadelphia's ball. It's a spot of recovery, 1st and 10.
Jim Cunny, our referee.
Excuse me, Jim. The man back there with Nelms got in front of Mike Nelms and kind of deflected his vision from the football, and that's why he fumbled the football. But you never see Mike Nelms fumble back there.
How important early is a big break like that?
Oh, it's a big break for the Eagles to have their home crowd behind them, and you can hear the crowd. They're right in this game.
Inside handoff to the rock man, Hubie Oliver. First down inside the 40. Blocking on the left side by Dean Miraldi and Steve Kenny. Curtis Jordan came up to make the tackle. As you watch the blocking, this is the 4th game in a row the Eagles' offensive line has been intact.
The Eagle offensive line is doing a great job, especially in their running game. Big improvement in the running game. You see that big hole there. You see the rock man, Hubie Oliver, running right through it. But the Redskins have been having trouble in the last 3 weeks stopping the run.
Tony Woodruff deployed wide to the left side, number 83, and 82, Mike Quick out of North Carolina State. Former number 1 draft pick comes wide to the right. Williams, right side, inside the 30. Blocking by Leonard Mitchell and Ron Baker. Darrell Green came up to make the tackle. The right side with good blocking. Keep in mind now, Leonard Mitchell at 6'7", 285 pounds. He was drafted number 1 as a defensive lineman.
That's right. He was a basketball player at the University of Houston for 2 years. Came to the Eagles at the number 1 pick as a defensive lineman. Now starting at right tackle, and he's really settled into that position.
You know, his girlfriend is a member of the U.S. Olympic volleyball team. 2nd and 2. Williams again. Stutter step. First down at the 25 for Philadelphia. Curtis Jordan came up to make the hit for the Washington Redskins, the 8-year free safety out of Texas Tech.
This is what the Philadelphia Eagles could not do in the first encounter between the Eagles and the Redskins. They could not run the football. That put a lot of pressure on their passing game, and the Redskins were able to double up on Mike Quick and shut him out for the afternoon after only 2 catches. But the Eagles are getting that running game going. That's going to open things up for their passing game later on.
Eagles have 2 tight ends in now. John Spagnola, 88 out of Yale, and Vito Cab, 84 from Penn State. Hubie Oliver, nothing doing, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, brings up 2nd down and 10 as Vernon Dean, 3rd year out of San Diego State, came up from his right corner spot to make the tackle. Vernon Dean, you know, he broke Jim McMahon's consecutive pass streak. There had been 152 passes thrown and completed by McMahon before Vernon Dean stepped in with an interception.
Well, he leads the NFC in interceptions this year with 6.
2nd and 10. Quick wide to the right side. Woodruff top of the screen, wide left. Jaworski goes airborne. Right corner of the end zone. Mike Quick was spun around at the 5 and no flag.
That time they had double coverage on Quick. When you think of double coverage, you think of it's going to be 2 defensive backs on a wide receiver, but you see Monty Coleman taking Quick short. Darrell Green has him deep. Quick still breaks it out to the corner on a corner route and still has him open, but the connection, the timing is not there on the play.
As a wide receiver, what could you do when you're facing double coverage?
Well, you have to see where that double coverage is coming from. In the case where it's coming from on Quick, with the linebacker coming out to help with the defensive backs, it's pretty tough to get off the line. Your first concern is to get off the line.
Shotgun for Jaworski on 3rd and 10. Wilbert Montgomery in as a wide receiver. Deflected at the 15-yard line. Back there on the coverage for Washington was Curtis Jordan. And we will see the youngster, Paul Mcfadden. How important is it for this young man now, rookie out of Youngstown State? He had that extra point blocked by Betters. Where's his confidence been all week?
Well, I guarantee you Paul Mcfadden has been thinking about that block extra point all week long, and he couldn't wait to get a chance out here, and he's getting it early for the Philadelphia Eagles, a field goal attempt here.
Ron Jaworski will put it down at the 33. It's a 43-yard field goal try. 43 out of the hold of Jaworski. Eagles lead 3-0. His confidence was just fine. So the 2 Youngstown Staters, Ron Jaworski, who's been a big inspiration to Paul Mcfadden all season long, talked to him this week, and he said very pointedly, look, let's not let that blocked extra point get in the way of the rest of our season. Jaworski's hold, Mcfadden's kick, and the Eagles lead 3-0 after the Mike Nelms fumble.
Us syncopators of progressive riffs have a unique style of jawing.
Howard says jazz musicians talk funny.
And after a gig, I finger pop with a light beer from Miller.
After playing, Howard enjoys a light beer.
Light is super cool and a breeze on the calories, you dig.
Light is less filling, with a third less calories than their regular beer. And the taste, Howard?
Oh, man, it's Obop Shaban. Lay down, break down, birdie on the hot side of town.
He likes it.
Light beer from Miller.
How about the confidence of Mike Nelms right there after the fumble?
Well, he's probably a little shaken up, but it's the same case. He can't wait till he gets his hands back on that football.
Philadelphia leads 3-0, a 43-yard field goal. Mcfadden, who just put it through the uprights, tees it from the 35. Deep and to the 3. Nelms across the 20, and look out. Up across the 25, and that's where the Washington Redskins will start 1st and 10. Well, from the pro football ranks, we go to great college football weekend coming up next weekend right here on CBS Sports. On Friday, 2 of college football's top passers will be on display. Heisman Trophy candidate Doug Flutie leading the Boston College Eagles against Bernie Kosar and the Miami Hurricanes. How'd you like to play defense in that one? That's at 2:30 Eastern time. Then on Saturday, Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish invading the Coliseum in Los Angeles to take on the Rose Bowl bound Trojans of USC. That's Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time, and it's all on CBS. Theismann looks over 1st and 10 from his own 25. And he's got Calvin Mohammed up near the 30-yard line for a pickup of 5. It's 2nd and 5. Joe Theismann and that offensive front. The Hogs, of course, familiar names down there, but these are the wide receivers. Calvin Mohammed, double tight end, Donnie Warren, Rick Walker, and of course the big man, 44, the Diesel, is back. There are the Hogs, 1,397 pounds, folks. Joe Theismann, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, completing 85% of his passes this season. Walker goes the other way. John Riggins hammers his way up across the 33, close to the 34, in the grasp of Greg Brown, big number 98. He is bigger now than he used to be. He put on about 40 pounds. Greg Brown. And speaking of the Eagles defensive front, they play the 3-4.
3-4 led by Dennis Harrison and Ken Clark in the middle. Ken Clark having a Pro Bowl season. Linebackers, the man in the middle there, Mike Reichenbach, replacing Jerry Robinson.
And the secondary missing your old nemesis, Roynell Young.
Yes, but they got one of my other old nemesis there, Herm Edwards, there in the secondary.
Theismann bends in on 3rd and a long 2. Out of the pocket, and he slides for a 1st down. This is what bothered Marion Campbell all week. He said, look, Theismann killed us in the first game. We held him as far as his passing stats were concerned, but in that first meeting, a 20-0 Washington whitewash, Theismann ran for what, 56 yards?
Well, he had a big day running the football. You see, the Eagles will put pressure on Theismann, but the key here is to try to contain Theismann inside that pocket. And Theismann, being the smart player he is, knows where that 1st down marker is located and just picks up the 1st down.
You just say he's smart because you and he went to the same high school in South River, New Jersey.
Along with Kenny Jackson.
The Rams, 1st and 10, Washington. Riggins gets hammered down up near the 40-yard line, blocking over on the right side and nothing doing by Kenny Huff and Mark May. Ken Clark, 71, stuffed the play, helped out by Dennis Bigfoot Harrison.
Well, the man that controls the running game, the defensive line, is Kenny Clark in the middle. You see Harrison in pursuit. Kenny Clark stops it up, and Harrison comes in pursuit to make the tackle.
2nd down, 7 yards to go for the Redskins. Calvin Mohammed and Art Monk deployed wide to the left side. Walker, the tight end, used as a wide receiver to the top of your screen. That's motion by Monk. Incomplete in Eagles territory, and it was intended for Calvin Mohammed, and back on the coverage, Joel Williams, former Atlanta Falcon.
Theismann on that play read man-to-man coverage, but he didn't see Joel Williams come out and take that short zone away from Calvin Mohammed on that sideline route.
How about on 3rd down now? The Eagles in a 3-4 defense. They don't blitz a whole lot. You've got to put pressure on Theismann. Get up in his face and bother him.
Well, the Eagles expect their pressure to come from their front. In the 3rd down passing situation, they use 4 defensive linemen. They expect their pressure to come from their front 4.
7 defensive backs in for the Eagles. Herm Edwards back on the coverage, and Theismann throws it out of bounds. Looking for Calvin Muhammad. I think the wind might have taken that ball.
I think Theismann just threw that away. He's seen the coverage. He read what's there. He see no receiver open.
Looks like Calvin Muhammad might have pulled a hamstring.
Yeah, I've noticed that on the sideline. Looked like he's coming off the sideline a little slow. But Theismann read the coverage there. He saw his receivers were covered and just threw the ball away.
Jeff Hayes back to do the punting. He had 2 blocked punts last week against the Lions. Prior to that, he had punted successfully 177 times. Evan Cooper, number 21, is back all alone at the Eagles' 15-yard line. So Philadelphia's defense has stiffened and stopped the Redskins early. High, towering kick by Hayes. Fair catch by Cooper, and he lets it hit. He did not hit the football, but this is a costly mistake. It'll be down at the 1.5-yard line. Rich Maudie out of Penn State was back there on the coverage, and you can see Cooper walking off, and I'm sure Marion Campbell will have words because that cost him 20 yards. Eagles lead 3-zip. Costly mistake by Evan Cooper, backing the Eagles up at their own 1.5-yard line. Last week, when the Eagles were in a similar situation against the Dolphins down in the Orange Bowl, they came out throwing.
It's a situation most teams expect you to run the football, but a lot of times down here, because the defenses expect you to run, you're going to get a lot of man-to-man coverage, so it presents a good situation to throw the football. Let's see what the Eagles do.
Woodruff wide to the left side. Mike Quick, bottom of your screen. Running back, Hubie Oliver for Jaworski. Hubie Oliver up maybe to the 3-yard line in the grasp of Neil Olkowitz. Around the NFL today, there's a big surprise. Drew Pearson's old team, the Cowboys, down to the Buffalo Bills, and of course Buffalo still looking for their first win. Atlanta takes an early lead over Cleveland. Falcons have been banged up all year, and the Rams against the Packers. Green Bay still thinking they've got an outside shot at a playoff possibility, and the Bears up over the Lions. Dive play to Williams. He gets up near the 5-yard line. Does the second-year running back out of Mississippi College. 4th-round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles in the grasp of Dexter Manley. He had some kind of a game last week against the Detroit Lions, didn't he?
He certainly did. He had 3 quarterback sacks, and the big improvement with Dexter Manley, he's playing the run a lot better than he ever has. We know he can rush the passer, but he's really stopping the run this year, and that's the big improvement in Dexter Manley. 3
sacks against Gary Danielson of the Lions, 10 sacks on the year, and 51 on his career. It's 3rd and 8 for Jaworski, showing shotgun. Drop at the 8-yard line. Michael Haddix out of the backfield. Had he been able to turn the corner, he might have picked up big yardage, but you've got to get the ball first.
Well, Michael Haddix had man-to-man coverage with Rich Malott on him, and he ran the route, good sideline route. Jaworski read him, read the play, hit the open man. Haddix just couldn't hold on. Now they have to punt the football.
To Mike Nelms, 3-time Pro Bowler who shares right now 7 Redskin return records. He just needs 92 more kickoff yards to tie an 8th record. Horan is back to do the punting. Mike Horan, a left-footed punter. Does that ball have a different rotation?
It certainly does. It's just like a left-handed quarterback. When he's throwing you a pass, you have to concentrate on the rotation because it's just a complete opposite from a right-footed punter.
That might have been some of the problem with Nelms last time when he fumbled the football. He will kick it away from Nelms, and he kicks it, and it bounces for a Nelms at the 41, and he goes inside the 35, bumped out of bounds in front of the Eagles bench at the 32-yard line. It was not a very good kick by Horan. It was low and line drive. It hit on the 30-yard line. So the Redskins in great field position start 1st and 10 from the Eagles 33, and the Redskins on the short end by 3. Time left in a scoreless first quarter for the Redskins. One drive was stopped, but they start in excellent field position. Motion by Didier across. John Riggins out of the backfield. You don't see Riggins used very much as a wide receiver. That time John slipped through on the linebacker. Watch the rookie now, number 55, Reichenbach.
Well, he's having no problem playing against the run. Rookies are able to do that. He's having his problems in his pass coverage. You see him there on his drop. He comes up and puts a pop on Riggins. knocks the ball loose from John Riggins.
That is John's 7th catch of the season for 46 yards. Ruled incomplete, so it's 2nd and 10. Slot formation to the left side. Mohammed out. Motion by Don Warren across. Intercepted at the 9-yard line by Ray Ellis. The Eagles with a huge defensive play. That is the 9th interception thrown by Joe Theismann this year, and for Ray Ellis, his 5th interception this season.
You see Reichenbach again in pass coverage. Clint Didier running the corner route. Reichenbach has him all the way, and he gets help there from Ray Ellis to pick up his 5th interception of the season. Big turnover for the Washington Redskins.
So the Eagles dodge a bullet. They lead 3-0 with 5:20 left to go in quarter number 1. Jim Kelly and Drew Pearson back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. A sold-out Veterans Stadium. The first Eagles sellout of the season. And the home team leads 3-0. Jaworski on 1st and 10. Wide open is Vito Cab. That is only Vito Cab's 5th reception of the year out of Penn State, a 3rd-round draft pick in '82. The middle was wide open. He found the seam.
It certainly was a little play action back there, and then Jaworski sees man-to-man coverage with Vito Cab. They went to a double tight end formation. Most of the attention was on the other side to John Spagnola, but Jaworski came back to Vito Cab and hit him for the big play.
Threw the ball over Mel Kaufman, number 55. Woodruff left. Quick right. 1st and 10 Eagles at their own 40. Mike Williams dives to the Philadelphia 43. Tackled by Mel Kaufman. Jaworski now 2 out of 6, 28 yards in the passing department. He had a great game against the Dolphins. 3 touchdown passes a week ago.
Jaworski's really come on, and he's really keeping his team together offensively because he has the experience back there being the quarterback. He is their leader, and he's really helped the Eagle team stay together this year.
Rushing today against the first game when the Eagles were whitewashed by Washington 20-0. Quick right. Woodruff left. Oliver and Williams. It's Oliver behind Williams' block. QB with a stutter step, and the Rockman hammers his way up to the 45. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 5 for Philadelphia. Curtis Jordan and Vernon Dean came up to cement the tackle. Curtis Jordan, number 22, waived by the Tampa Bay Bucks. Got a little concerned last week against the Detroit Lions after the Redskins had that 28-0 lead. He said, our blowout almost blew up.
Well, he's the leading tackler in the Redskins defense, and he's a very aggressive player back there. He got an interception last week, his 1st interception.
Jim Tunney, our referee, and Jaworski, I believe, has taken one of, no, it's Washington that takes a timeout. So the Redskins making some defensive adjustments. Washington on the short end. A 43-yard field goal by the rookie Paul Mcfadden in Philadelphia leads the Redskins 3-0. Michael Haddock's number 26 in the lineup for Philadelphia at running back along with Wilbert Montgomery. Wilbert used primarily as a wide receiver now. Mel Hoover, 85, also checks in. Redskins in a nickel defense. Number 26, Ricky Smith, the nickel back for Washington. Shotgun for Jaworski. Montgomery in motion. Here comes the blitz, and there goes Jaworski. Monty Coleman came crashing through to sack Jaworski back at the 32-yard line.
You can see at the top of the screen, Monty Coleman lined up there, and you can see Redskins are bringing everybody. 7 people are coming to put the pressure on Jaworski, playing man-to-man coverage in the secondary. You see the speed of Coleman go right by Dean Morale, the offensive tackle for the Eagles. And the Redskins in pursuit make the tackle, the sack on Jaworski.
Loss of 13 yards on that sack. So it brings up 4th and 18. So Paul Mcfadden standing back at his own 17-yard line. You saw the graphic, the joys of sack. Mike Nelms back at the 27-yard line of Washington. Here is Mike Horan off the side of his foot, and it goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Well, the kicker that was not supposed to have problems is.
Well, he certainly is. I don't know if the cold weather's affect him or what, but he's not kicking the ball effectively. We see him in practice. He's got a very strong leg, and that kick was, or that punt was definitely no indication. A 4-yard punt, Jim.
That's Marion Campbell, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, concerned over on the sideline. So the Redskins with good field position again. Left side of that Redskin line, I think it might have been Joe Jacoby, moved in anticipation of Theismann's count. And when Jacoby moves, there's a lot of Joe to move.
That's right. You got to see that. You can't miss that.
Offense, number 66. Remains first down.
Joe Jacoby, 6'7", 305 is the program weight. He said yesterday, hey, I'm 300.
That's a big difference, Joe. Make sure we say today that Joe Jacoby is 300.
He's like a refrigerator.
That's right. I don't want him to get mad at me, so I'm going to say he's 300.
It's tough shaking hands and seeing your hand disappear. Like a vice. Here comes the diesel. John Riggins cracks down to the 36-yard line of Philadelphia in the grasp of the rookie, Mike Reichenbach.
You know, Jim, we've seen these Philadelphia Eagles early in the season, and to me, this is a very different football team. They're playing with a lot more intensity, a lot more aggressiveness, and they have more confidence in themselves, and they're really giving the Redskins all they can handle so far in the first quarter.
There's the rookie, 55, Reichenbach, out of East Stroudsburg State, released by Philadelphia earlier in the year and brought back. Quite a story. We'll tell you about that. 2nd and 10 for Theismann. Slot to the left. Mohammed outside. Monk. Motion top of your screen. Wide open is Art Monk, and he is sliced down inside the Philadelphia 30 by Elbert Fowles. Elbert Fowles went to Acorn State, just like the man he replaced, Roynell Young.
Fowles is doing a good job in there replacing Roynell Young. Roynell has just been activated and will be used in nickel situations, passing situations like this situation for the Eagles. To see Roynell Young in there now.
They said Fowles was given 4 years of intense lecturing in the science of man-to-man coverage.
Well, that made him qualified to play defensive back in the National Football League.
6 defensive backs in for Philadelphia. Bernard Wilson and Roynell Young check in. Monk to the top of the screen. Calvin Mohammed to the bottom. Wide open is Art Monk. And that should be a Washington first down. Roynell Young, an old nemesis of Drew Pearson's, came up to make a hammering hit. But I believe that it's a first down. It is for Washington. You've had some verbal battles with Roynell over the years, too.
Roynell and I used to have a lot of fun out there and play. He's a very quiet guy, but when we got together, he was very vocal, and we had a lot of action out there. And you see him, he's been anxious to get back into the play, and he just puts a good lick on Art Monk on that play, but Monk still picked up the first down.
Monk, of course, the favorite wide receiver of Joe Theismann, came in with 63 catches. He's had 2 here in the first quarter. Slot to the left. Joe looks over 1st and 10 from the Philadelphia 23. Misdirection to the diesel, and John Riggins, falling forward, goes to the 20-yard line in the grasp of Reggie Wilkes. The thing about Riggins, he's always moving forward.
He's got that good body lean. And the thing about Riggins you don't expect, or the thing you neglect most, is that he has great speed. In high school, he ran a 9.800. So he has that great speed, and with all that power, 240 pounds coming at you, it's tough to stop him.
Only O.J. Simpson, Franco Harris, Jim Brown, and Walter Payton have more career rushing yardage than that man, John Riggins. He came into the game only 846 yards behind O.J. for the 4th spot on the NFL all-time rushing list. And so far this afternoon, 4 carries for 12 yards. With 46 yards this afternoon, he'll become the oldest player to rush for 1,000 yards. 3-0 Philadelphia after the first quarter.
Is sponsored by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Honda, makers of the new Accord SEI 4-door sedan. And by AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound.
Along with Drew Pearson, I'm Jim Kelly. Welcome back to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Redskins looking at 2nd and 7 from the Philadelphia 20. They trail 3-0. Theismann to Riggins. Huge hole left side. And Big John barrels inside the Eagles 15, hammering his way down close to the 13-yard line. Mike Reichenbach, the rookie, getting a start here in place of the injured Jerry Robinson, finally gets Riggins down.
See on the left side there, I believe number 68, Russ Grimm there is holding on that play. Good blocking there, but no penalty.
You saw Jacoby throwing the block on the linebacker there as Riggins picks up short yardage, good enough to give the Eagles a first down. So it's the Redskins a first down. So it's 1st and 10, Philadelphia. On defense, looking over as Joe Theismann sends Calvin Mohammed wide to the left, Art Monk in the slot. Didier goes back the other way. Here comes Riggins again. Inside the 10. Barrels down to the 7. Elbert Fowles hanging on, but that's a mismatch because Riggins coats the scale at about 240 pounds, and for Fowles, he's only 185. Watch Didier here in his block.
Well, you see Didier doing all that running around back there. You wonder what he's going to do, where he's going to end up. A lot of times it's in passing situations, but that time he gets a great block on Joel Williams, and gives Riggins room to run outside on that corner.
Redskins really only run about 8 plays with Riggins, but they run them from so many different formations.
Well, the thing in stopping Riggins, you got to get penetration with your defensive line and stop him before he gets some motivation going, momentum going.
Looks like the same play. It is. This time Riggins goes inside, and he's inside the 5. He's down to the 2. 1st and goal for the Redskins.
With those hogs sitting up there, all their weight, and then here comes another 240 pounds sitting in there. It's tough to stop them. You see that great blocking up front. Rick Donnelly, Russ Grimm. You see the hole there. Reichenbach comes in and makes the tackle, but Riggins still drives, picks up some extra yardage.
Reichenbach was more in the way. Boy, you take Jacoby, Grimm, Donnelly, Huff, and May, 1,397 pounds, the front 5 of the Redskins. Riggins and Otis Wansley are the running backs. Wansley had 3 touchdowns on the ground last week. Double tight end, Didier in motion. There goes Riggins, and he is close to the goal line. Hogs say touchdown. Nothing yet from Jim Tunney. 2nd and goal. Harvey Armstrong, number 96 for Philadelphia, just clogged up the middle.
Good play by Harvey Armstrong in the middle there. Got penetration, was able to put a good stick on John Riggins. Keep him from getting in that end zone.
You wouldn't want to bet John Riggins is just about to score his 12th rushing touchdown of the year, would you?
I bet they give it to him, I tell you that.
Wansley had 3 last week against the Lions. They stop him. In fact, I think they lost about a half a yard. Wes Hopkins, who's known as a hitter, you can attest to that.
He certainly is.
And there's a penalty flag down.
Well, the Eagles had a great goal line stand last week against the Miami Dolphins. They're trying to make one here. You see the penetration by Wes Hopkins, and he gets Riggins before he can get started. And there's the pursuit to bring him down. Wes Hopkins is a very physical, strong, free safety.
Motion, number 86, moving towards the line, remains 2nd down.
So it is still 2nd down. Murray and Campbell electing to take the penalty and back the Redskins up. This is where Theismann is so dangerous, because you have that play action fake into the line to Riggins. The linebackers have to respect the run, and then Theismann turns around and pops it to one of his big tight ends.
Theismann makes very tough on the defense, puts a lot of pressure on the defense, especially in this situation.
Slot to the left side. That's Didier motions across. Here comes Riggins again. And Big John barrels down. Loose football. Eagles say they've got it. Philadelphia does. Wes Hopkins covered the loose football. Let's see if we can pick up who makes the hit. Watch Greg Brown, number 98.
Redskins go right back to their bread and butter. John Riggins there, and he gets a good pop. I believe that was Greg Brown on the play. You see the ball come loose, and Wes Hopkins is there to recover it.
Eagles dodge a bullet again. 3-0 Philadelphia. That fumble by John Riggins, so unusual coming into the game. John had carried the ball 1,020 times under Joe Gibbs' offensive scheme and only fumbled 13 times, or once every 78 times John Riggins touched the football. 1st and 10, Philadelphia. Jaworski looks for Tony Woodruff, and it's intercepted by the Redskins at the 40-yard line. Darrell Green comes up with the interception. So we go seesawing back and forth at the vet. Jaworski said he wanted to come out throwing just like they did last week, but that time, great coverage by Darrell Green. But wait a minute. I believe there's a penalty flag down as well.
Well, you see, anyway, a great interception by Darrell Green. He looks like the receiver on this play, and he makes a catch. Looks like it's going to be a penalty against the Washington Redskins. I think they're going to call pass interference on Darrell Green.
Pass interference. Defense, number 28, first down.
You talk about a big break. The Redskins have committed 3 turnovers so far in the first half. They fumbled a punt. It led to the only score. An interception by Philadelphia's Ray Ellis. And then Riggins fumbles inside the Philadelphia 2. After an apparent interception, it's negated because of pass interference. And instead of starting from their own 1, the Eagles all the way up to their own 27. Mike Williams up to the 29. Picks up 2. Brings up 2nd down and 8. Darrell Grant, 4th year out of Rice, came up to hammer Mike Williams.
Well, the turnovers and the mistakes are very uncharacteristic of the Washington Redskins. They usually try to play a control type game and let the other teams make mistakes and take themselves out of the football game. But the Redskins are doing that so far in the first half.
Cleveland, after trailing 7-0, comes back against the Falcons. Chicago now up by a field goal against Monty Clark's Lions. And the Giants and the Cardinals so important in the NFC East because they are just 1 game behind Washington and Dallas. Jaworski, Tony Woodruff. Bumped down at the 42, but that's a first down for Philadelphia. Rich Malott out of Penn State was back on the coverage. But Tony Woodruff with 5 catches last week against the Dolphins, just a little out pattern.
Vernon Dean's going to give him a lot of room on this play. Get the replay here.
How about the confidence of Tony Woodruff? He said earlier in the year he didn't have a whole lot.
Well, he certainly has it now because he's in a starting situation. You see here on the replay, Vernon Dean's going to give him a lot of room. And he expects that help from the linebacker underneath. Here's Malott, but he's too late. Woodruff makes the catch. First down, Eagles.
Over the middle, that is Spagnola, and Spagnola barrels inside the Redskin 40 for a first down. John Spagnola out of Yale in his 5th year. The leading Philadelphia receiver came in with 44 catches.
Well, the Eagles, last time these two teams played, they shut down Mike Quick, the Washington Redskin defense. So the Eagles say, we're going to go to our tight ends a little bit in this game to go to Spagnola, the leading receiver for the Eagles this year, and he turns it into a big game.
And you mentioned going to the tight end, something Philadelphia could not do last year. Of course, John was out a year ago. He was a patient, not a player, recuperating from cervical disc surgery in his neck. Could have been a career-ending injury. Jaworski hands off to Wilbert Montgomery. And little number 31 stutter steps to the 35-yard line for a pickup of 4 yards. It brings up 2nd down and 6. Let's check in on the Bears and Lions. Here's Brent.
All right, Jim, the Lions have climbed back into it. First of all, they intercepted a pass, and that led to this touchdown run by James Jones, and now it is 10-7. Chicago's still in the lead. Back to Jim.
Well, Brent, you know there's one thing that Monty Clark's team will not do, and that's quit. They were behind last week 28-0 to these Redskins. They came back and cut it down to a 28-14 deficit. 3 times were inside the Redskins' 20-yard line and came out with no points. Here goes Montgomery again. Nowhere to run. Boy, the loose football, and the Skins have got it. Only Montgomery's 3rd carry of the game. Great defensive job by the Skins to string it out, and Charles Mann, big number 71, covered that loose football. Mel Kaufman, number 55, forced the fumble. The Redskins with 3 mistakes, but the Eagles are not playing error-free football either.
You see Charles Mann there trying to corral Montgomery. Montgomery slips that tackle, then here comes the pursuit of the Redskins. That's 55, Mel Kaufman knocking the ball away. And here comes Charles Mann to recover the fumble for the Redskins.
Redskins have turned the ball over 3 times. The Eagles just committed their 2nd mistake. It's 1st and 10 Washington. Theismann, Riggins, and company start from the Washington 41. First and 10. They trail 3-0. Didier in motion. Play action fake by Theismann. Pump fake. He wants it all. He looks for Art Monk, and it is incomplete at the 22-yard line. Double coverage, and the first to get to the ball was Albert Fowles.
Great coverage by Albert Fowles. You see him on the play. He has a man-to-man. He's going to get help here from free safety Wes Hopkins in the middle, but Albert Fowles is going to make this play. Great timing, great leap, and Wes Hopkins going to put the finishing touches on Art Monk.
You know what they tell us about Fowles? He's got great catch-up speed.
That's right. A lot of times you can beat a defensive back, but what makes a good defensive back from a mediocre defensive back is that recovery speed once he gets beat.
Keith Griffin, 35, the rookie out of Miami of Florida, replacing John Riggins. Theismann out of the pocket. They've got the screen set up to Otis Wansley. Check it. It's to Keith Griffin. Griffin gets bumped out of bounds at the 45 of Washington. Eagles a little bit cautious when Theismann goes back in the pocket. One of their strategies, the game plan defensively, if you will, try to contain Theismann, not let him out of the pocket. That's when he does the most damage.
Well, you got to put that pressure from the outside, get that outside pass rush. That'll contain him in the pocket, but you got to keep somebody at home on the inside so that he doesn't take off up the middle and run for that big play.
There is what Joe has done so far this afternoon. Former teammate of Drew Pearson's at South River High in New Jersey.
All right.
You wore number 15 back then, right?
That's right. And Joe wore number 7, of course.
3rd and 3. Didier in motion. Didier dives for a Washington first down. Clint Didier, that is his 26th catch this season. But you know, 8 of his catches have been for touchdowns.
Well, he's a very effective receiver. Has turned into the clutch receiver for the Washington Redskins. He played with Neil Lomax in college at Portland State, so he knows how to run routes and he's used to catching the football. You see Theismann there. You see the protection he's getting. Not much penetration up front. Penetration coming from the outside. You see Didier being covered man-to-man by Ray Ellis. Completion.
Didier had 3 catches for 49 yards against the Lions. He's in motion. Screen set up to Art Monk. Eagles miss a tackle, and Monk kind of slithers across the Philadelphia 40, approaching the first down markers. Herm Edwards made the tackle, but you get that little arm out there on Art Monk. You got to have more than that.
Well, Art Monk's a big receiver. You just can't arm tackle Art Monk.
Cowboys coming back. Drew's old team. Of course, Dallas and Washington are Redskin fans watching. Very much interested in that game. Look what New England is doing in the Hoosier Dome. Ray Berry's got New England playing well, and the Cardinals going up 7-0 against the Giants, about 95 miles to the north up the New Jersey Turnpike. 2nd and 4. Riggins back in there. First down and more. He barrels across the Philadelphia 30. Reichenbach just hanging on. Huge hole on the left side by Russ Grimm and Joe Jacoby. You look at the blocking.
You see the left side. That's the strong side for the Washington Redskins. You see Russ Grimm pulling out there a little bit, and Joe Jacoby, and also Rick Donnelly, the center, getting a key block there. And once Riggins gets that head of steam going, he's tough to bring down. The Redskins are really mixing things up. They came out with this drive, throwing the football, opened things up in their running game for Riggins, and now Riggins has a lot of room to run in there because the Eagles have to be concerned with the pass.
Slot formation to the right side. Mohammed out. Monk inside. Here comes Didier again, and Riggins needs only 5 more yards. He won't get it on this call. Picks up about 2. Brings up 2nd down and 8. Riggins now 11 carries, 43 yards. So he needs just 3 more yards to become the oldest player in the history of the National Football League to rush for 1,000 yards in a season. You know the last to do it?
No.
John Henry Johnson.
John Henry Johnson.
He was
Pittsburgh.
35 years old. Line of scrimmage inside the 29 of Philadelphia. Washington on the short end, 3-0, which is not a bad score considering 3 turnovers. Riggins outside with lots of room. Inside the 25-yard line, 3rd and short when we come back. But let's check in on the Giants and the Cardinals. Back to New York. Here's Brent.
Jim, Cardinal quarterback Neil Lomax calls for his fullback up the gut, doesn't tell anybody, and keeps the football against the Giants. There's no one out there. He walks in for the touchdown, and the Cardinals lead 7-0. Back to Jim.
Of course, that's a very big game in the NFC East because both the New York Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals, one game behind the Redskins and the Cowboys for the top spot. And there, John Riggins has gone over 1,000 yards, the oldest player in the history of the NFL to do it. 7 defensive backs in for Philadelphia on 3rd and 4. Theismann wide open over the middle is Didier. Didier cracks it down to the 10. First down for the Redskins.
Well, the Redskins sent Didier in motion. He's being picked up in this situation by Wes Hopkins in a man-to-man. Wes Hopkins falls down. Didier makes the catch. Picks up another big first down for the Redskins.
Theismann now 7 out of 12, 51 yards passing, and he's got the Redskins in scoring position again. Keep in mind, the Redskins got it down to the 2-yard line before Riggins fumbled the football away. Calvin Mohammed, top of your screen. Art Monk to the bottom. Riggins is back in there. Riggins gets the call. At that time, good penetration by Jody Schultz in his second year out of East Carolina, and Greg Brown for Philadelphia got Riggins down after no gain.
This time they send Didier in motion. He becomes a blocker. Again, the line takes that half pull, try to get the Eagles to come out with them, and Riggins watch him try to cut back. Good penetration by the Eagles. Jody Schultz right there to make the play.
And Greg Brown, who helped out. Greg Brown had a pretty good game last time, 14 tackles. There is Jody Schultz. Brown going up against big number 66, Joe Jacoby. 2nd and 9 for the Skins. Theismann, left corner to Didier, bumped out of bounds at the Philadelphia 7. But with the short passes, Joe, really not much you can do to defend against that.
Now that time Joe kind of hesitated getting that ball at Didier. Didier was open right out of the break, and that hesitation forced Didier to go out of bounds. If Theismann had thrown it out there quicker, Didier could have turned it up for the touchdown. You see at the top of the screen, Didier in motion. He's open right there. Theismann kind of hesitates, but gets it out there finally. If he would have thrown it out there sooner, Didier could have turned it up and took it into the end zone.
Talking to Joe Gibbs yesterday when the Redskins arrived, the philosophy of the Eagles cornerbacks to lay off. They don't make a move until the receiver makes their move. Then they break to the ball.
Well, they give their receivers a lot of room.
7 defensive backs in for Philadelphia. Theismann wants it. Post pattern. Touchdown, Washington. Loose football. It was dropped, and it's ruled an incompleted pass. Don Warren did not hang on long enough. He had beaten Ray Ellis. Looked like an apparent touchdown. Here it is again.
Well, the question is, did he have the ball long enough as he breaks the plane in the end zone? We'll see what happens. It looks like he loses it on the way down. Looks like he had it long enough. The Redskin coaches are right next to us in the booth, and they're furious up here. They thought they had a touchdown.
Hopkins came in to recover the loose football, but it was ruled incomplete. So Mark Mosley, out of the hold of Joe Theismann, will try to tie up the football game. He missed it. He missed it to the left, but there's a penalty flag thrown by Jim Tunney.
Mosley missed the chip shot, 23-yard. I think he's going to have roughing the holder. That time they ran into Joe Theismann, the holder on that play.
The Eagles have got a convoy over arguing with Jim Tunney, and the Redskins are indicating it's against Philadelphia. Personal foul running into the kicker, so Mosley will reload. Snap was a little bit high. Theismann put it down. And there went Mosley.
Not bad acting there by Mosley. I thought acting was illegal this year, but Mosley got away with it. Good performance there by Joe and Mark Mosley.
The possibility that the blocker was actually blocked into the kicker?
That could have happened there too, but this call is going against the Eagles here. They're arguing about it, but they're not going to get the break.
Look at the Eagles bench. They are way out. They're down to the 25-yard line. Marion Campbell and about 6 of his coaches Lions said, wait a minute now, what's the call? Jim Tunney will tell us. That's Chuck Clausen on the left. And the first sellout crowd here in Philadelphia. You've played in front of sellouts here. Now let's check Jim Tunney.
Now they're explaining to the Redskins.
I don't think either Joe Gibbs or Marion Campbell is going to be happy with this one. Here's another. We've seen this so often this year. They want to get the call right, but this is so frustrating for both coaches. Take another look and see if you can tell. Was he blocked into Mosley, or did his momentum carry him in on zone?
I think his own momentum carried it, but it was just incidental contact. As far as I'm concerned, it's more acting on the part of Mosley.
The kick had already missed the upright. Joe Gibbs, who has had some problems with officiating so far this year. Of course, Joe was still frustrated over a couple of calls in the Lions game. The one touchdown, apparent touchdown off an interception by Vernon Dean, 5 yards deep. No signal given on a touchback. That cost the Redskins 7 points last week. And Didier was hauled down by one of the Lions, and there was no flag thrown.
The Redskins have been having their share of calls go against them, as we see Jim Tunney going over and talk to Marion Campbell, trying to explain what's going on here.
I would say, based on Swamp Fox's reaction, the call is not going to go in Philadelphia's favor. Joe Gibbs, he's waiting for an explanation, too.
See the Eagle defense coming back on the field. Redskin offense going back out.
After discussing in the crew conference, the ball was not touched. Running into the kicker, 71, 5 yards and a first down.
Well, that was the original call. I don't know where the controversy came in, but that was his original call. Let's see if the Eagles can use this to help fire their football team back up.
You saw Byron Darby, 94, check in. He comes in as a 4th down lineman, so a very, very costly penalty. Ken Clark was the nose tackle. He was
half the distance of the goal line. First down, 3-yard line.
Listen to the first sellout in Philadelphia this year.
These fans here in Philadelphia can get very vocal, very aggressive, and very nasty for the opposing team, believe me.
They booed you just getting out of the cab.
And they really booed the Cowboys, and they really will boo the Redskins.
3 tight ends in for Washington. Don Warren, 85. Anthony Jones, 82. Clint Didier, 86. Riggins, the lone running back. Here come the Hogs. There goes Riggins. Good pursuit, and Anthony Griggs, 3rd-year linebacker out of Ohio State, the first green and white jersey to get there.
Well, the Eagle defense is really fired up now. As I mentioned last week, they stopped the Miami Dolphins, Pete Johnson on a 4th and 1 situation. They got a great goal line defense. There's Riggins. Look at that pursuit by the Eagle defense. 6, 7, 8 Eagles on John Riggins there.
How about a play-action fake to Riggins into the line now?
That's what you might see in this case, what they call a naked bootleg. Theismann will fake it and take it on his own.
Otis Wansley, 39, back in there with Riggins. Riggins to the right side, dives inside the 2. It's 3rd and goal for the Washington Redskins. 2:48 left to go in this first half, and Greg Brown, who's had some big battles with Joe Jacoby, the man who submarined Riggins down low.
Again, the penetration by the Eagle defense, the front 4 up front, they get Riggins before he can get started. And that's how you stop John Riggins.
They back it up to the 3, so it's 3rd and goal, Washington from the 3. Redskins on the short end by 3. A 43-yard Paul Mcfadden field goal, the only scoring in a turnover-filled first half. Slot to the left. Mohammed is outside. Art Monk is inside. Riggins, the lone running back. Theismann will pop for it. Touchdown, Washington. Clint Didier, but there's a penalty flag at the 3-yard line. Didier with his 9th touchdown of the year. We'll check with Jim Tunney. Redskins says it counts. Jim Tunney says it counts.
Holding, defense, decline.
See Theismann going back, and Didier's in motion on this play. You see the linebacker, Jody Schultz, just holding on to the tight end on the inside there. Don Warren, but Didier's burned Ray Ellis for the touchdown.
The crucial call, roughing the kicker against Ken Clark after Mosley had missed the field goal. So now instead of trying for a tying field goal, Mosley is trying the extra point. Didier, by the way, 4 receptions, 24 yards and 1 touchdown. He now has 29 catches on the year, 9 of them for touchdowns. Almost 1 out of 3 for a touchdown. 7-3 Redskins.
Take another look at the touchdown. You see Didier in motion. He fakes like he's going back across. It comes upfield. And when you come into motion, you got to make sure you don't come upfield too soon. You see Didier runs the out route, comes back inside on Ray Ellis, just burns him for the touchdown. A 7-3 Washington lead with 2:16 left in the half.
A seesaw football game. The Redskins have turned the ball over 3 times to Philadelphia. A Wilbur Montgomery fumble, the second Eagle mistake, led to that Redskins scoring drive, capped off, of course, when Kenny Clark was called for roughing Mosley after Mosley had missed what might have been the tying field goal. Gave the Redskins another shot. Didier made good on Joe Theismann's 17th touchdown toss of the year. Evan Cooper across the 25, hurls his frame across the 30, and that's where the Eagles will start 1st and 10. Of course, Thanksgiving and football go hand in hand, and we've got a good game for you from Pontiac. To be the Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Packers have got their hands full with the Rams this afternoon, but Green Bay, they still think they've got a wild card possibility, maybe even a real shot at winning that NFC Central. Of course, the key thing right there, it's a noon start, so while you're basking in a little bubbly and cooking that turkey on Thanksgiving, watch Brent, Irv, Jimmy the Greek, and the NFL Today, Thursday, here on CBS. Shotgun for Jaworski. Incomplete and almost intercepted. Wilbur Montgomery just does not seem to be mentally in this football game.
Well, you know, a lot of times when you have an injury like Wilbur Montgomery has, a hamstring, as we see Darrell Green on the sideline, I think that ball hit him in the stomach, got the wind knocked out of him. There's Jaworski, also hurt on the play. Just a simple pass play. You got 2 players, a player on each side got hurt on the play. Jaworski must have got a finger in the eye or something. He's really hot.
He's screaming at Jim Tunney, wondering where the roughing the passer call is.
I think he got a finger in the eye, and that's very painful. Believe me, I've had it. I've experienced it.
Redskins just awesome on defense. They ran Gary Danielson's bell last week. Gary hardly remembered the first half.
Well, Redskins have a very aggressive defense. They take pride in hitting and knocking people out of the games, especially Philadelphia Eagles or Dallas Cowboys or New York Giants, anybody in the NFC East.
Darrell Green is down at the 43 of Philadelphia over in front of the Eagles bench. Jaworski being attended to out there by the Philadelphia medical staff, and Jim Tunney has indicated we're at the 2-minute warning. A 43-yard Paul Mcfadden field goal and a 4-yard touchdown toss. Theismann to Didier. 7-3. Redskins on top. 2 minutes to go before halftime. Along with former Dallas Cowboy All-Pro wide receiver Drew Pearson, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Eagles with a tough one against the Washington Redskins. Darrell Green has stayed in, and Jaworski in the shotgun, a little bit woozy, but he's got a slot formation to the left on 2nd and 10. Look out. Jaworski in trouble. Unloads, and it is almost intercepted. Throwing to Haddix out of the backfield, and Rich Malott, he was as surprised as anybody that the ball just slithered through Haddix's hands.
The Redskins are getting a lot of pressure on Jaworski, and he's got to go to the short passing game, even though it's a 2-minute offensive situation here. Jaworski buys time. Haddix tries, second time he did that today, trying to run before he catches the football.
3rd and 10. The Eagles are 0 for 4 on 3rd down conversions so far. Jaworski just 4 out of 10, 59 yards passing. But not all of those are Jaworski's fault. His receivers have dropped an awful lot.
They haven't gone to Mike Quick at all in the first half.
Quick commanding double coverage wide to the left side. Jaworski rifles it over the middle. It's intercepted. That is Anthony Washington, and he's got a convoy. Inside the 30, out of bounds at the 25. 1st and 10, Washington. A mistake between Jaworski and Melvin Hoover. Not a real good route by Mel Hoover. Pulled up a little bit short, and Washington was all alone.
See on the replay here, Jaworski will get some time to throw this ball. He's waiting for Hoover to come inside. The ball was thrown behind. Anthony Washington says, look what I found, takes it up. The Redskins got 1:44 in great field position to try to get some more points before the half comes to a close.
1st and 10 for Joe Theismann, who will bring out his core of receivers for Washington right there. That's his first interception of the year. And for Theismann, 1:44, that's almost a whole first half for Joe.
And what makes that 1:44 so big is that the field position they have. They're on the 25, 26-yard line of the Eagles. And, you know, 1:44, the work from this field position is like a lifetime.
Joe likes to say that if you give him one timeout and 55 seconds on the clock, he can take a team 80 yards for a score.
Well, he's so experienced. He's been in these situations so many times. I remember so many times he pulled games out against the Dallas Cowboys in situations just like this.
Riggins, the lone running back. Slot with Mohammed and Monk wide to the left. Here comes Riggins. Did not get out of bounds. Picks up 2 yards, brings up 2nd down and 8. Jody Schultz, in his 2nd year out of East Carolina, came up to seal off the corner and keep Riggins from going out of bounds.
Good job by Schultz to force Riggins back inside and make the tackle, keep that clock running.
Interesting play call on 1st down. You would expect Theismann to go airborne now. Clock continues to wind down, and there'll be about 1:10 when this ball is snapped. Monk to the top of your screen. Theismann unloads. Wide open is Monk. And he gets out of bounds. Again, let's talk about the philosophy of the Eagle cornerbacks, because Joe Gibbs was talking to you about that yesterday, and it really leaves the short passing game wide open.
Well, the Eagle defensive backs will give you a lot of room in their coverage. They'll drop back. When they see their quarterback go past that three-step drop mark, then you know they're going to go to the receiver. But the quarterback sets up on a 3-step drop, then they come up and cover the receiver. But if he goes past that mark, goes to a 5-step drop or a 7-step drop, then the cornerbacks will play way deep. They get way back there to give the receivers a lot of room.
Jeff Moore, number 30, who had a touchdown catch last week against the Lions, has replaced Riggins at running back. Monk to the right, Calvin Mohammed to the left. Theismann incomplete at the 12 and almost intercepted. Anthony Griggs, 3rd-year linebacker, number 58 for Philadelphia, out of Ohio State, almost came out. That was thrown into triple coverage.
And Theismann was looking for Jeff Moore on the play, but Don Warren, who ran a corner route, was wide open. You see the defensive backs reading Theismann, reading his eyes, reading his arm motion. When he gets ready to throw that ball to Jeff Moore, they converge on it. They almost come up with the interception.
Mark Mosley, who's 5 out of 5 between the 30 and 39 yards. This will be a 36-yard try out of the hold of Joe Theismann. Mosley's field goal is no good. Mosley missed a chip shot earlier and now misses from 36 yards out. He was 5 for 5 coming into that kick. So the Eagles dodge a bullet after the Jaworski interception. Philadelphia's ball, 1st and 10 with 50 seconds left when we come back.
Meisterbrow, big taste, without the big price.
Jaworski from the shotgun. Here come the Skins. Ron's in trouble, unloads, gets it off to Montgomery, and he gets pounded out of bounds at the Philadelphia 19. Penalty flag is down in the backfield, roughing the passer against Washington. Jaworski's going to need smelling salts by the time this first half is over.
That time Big Dave Butts was pursuing Jaworski and got a little over anxious as Jaworski let the ball go. He put the finishing touches on Ron Jaworski.
What ring size does Dave Butts wear?
He said 17 and a half.
Sure that's not his shoe size.
Put that thing around my neck.
Foul, roughing the passer, 65, 1st down.
Speaking of shoe sizes, 12 and a half, 7E for Dave Butts.
That's your pant size.
A man that big needs a lot of foundation.
Huge penalty, though, against the Redskins, because it gives Philadelphia 1st down up at their 34-yard line and Jaworski some room and time. 43 seconds left. Shotgun for Jaws. Again, Mike Quick not involved. He's getting double covered. Here comes Dexter Manley. Jaworski to Haddix. Haddix across the 45, and that's another Philadelphia first down. Quickly, Jaworski takes a timeout, so that play only used up 7 seconds. 35 seconds left to go before halftime. It's a 7-3 Washington lead. Mosley's missed 2 field goals, but Theismann to Didier, that's been the difference. That's Ted Marchibroda, former head coach in Baltimore, former offensive coordinator in Detroit. In his first year as the offensive coordinator for Marion Campbell, Ron Jaworski said the interesting thing about Ted is rather than force the offensive personnel to adapt to his system, he has really done the adapting.
Well, that's a good plus for the Eagle offense, because these guys have been playing together a long time. For the offensive coordinator to come in and try to instill a new system, it's very tough for the veteran players to grasp, but he didn't try to do that. He just took what was working well for the Eagles and continued to make it work.
Slot formation to the right side. Jaworski in a shotgun from his own 45 on 1st and 10. Dexter Manley looping outside. Jaworski, it's batted down at the 40 of the Skins. The ball thrown for Mike Quick, and now Quick bumping into Darrell Green. Also getting some help from Anthony Washington, who had that last interception.
Well, that time Quick looked like he was open, but he was double covered on the play, covered on short there by Darrell Green and deep by one of the safeties, Ken Coffey. Quick was a little frustrated.
Well, part of the frustration, no reception so far in the first half. This, of course, a very spirited rivalry between the Redskins and the Eagles. Washington winning the last 6 encounters. They won 6 straight from Philadelphia. 31 seconds left to go before halftime. Tony Woodruff wide to the left side. Hoover outside, and in the slot is Mike Quick. Skins with 6 defensive backs in there now. Ricky Smith along with Anthony Washington. Jaworski throws it deep. Quick gets bumped down. It's intercepted, but this will come back. Ken Coffey. Coffey across the 30, and that's it. But the penalty flag thrown at the 20-yard line. It's got to be pass interference. Mike Quick never had a chance.
I think it was pass interference on the play, but I think on that play, Mike Quick drew that pass interference, kind of like a basketball player drawing a charging foul. Mike Quick drew that pass interference, and it's going to be against the Redskins. Jaworski just kind of throws it up there, kind of a Hail Mary, and you see Quick drawing that penalty. Good smart play by the wide receiver, Mike Quick.
Looked like Quick had his arms around Vernon Dean.
Look at that tackle by Wilbur Montgomery on the play to finish Ken Coffey off.
Joe Gibbs' highlight reel gets longer.
That's right.
So instead of Washington's ball with 18 seconds left, the second costly mistake by the Redskins on this drive. The first was roughing the passer when Jaworski was sacked deep in Philadelphia territory. So now it's 1st and 10 Eagles from the 21 of Washington. Still 18 seconds for Jaworski. He's got Quick and Hoover out wide to the right. Montgomery's open out of the backfield, and Wilbert's got the ball. A stiff arm down to the 17. And 11 seconds left to go. Jaworski quickly takes a timeout. Ken Coffey on the coverage, but you just can't cover Wilbert Montgomery out of the backfield one-on-one. 11 seconds as Jaworski talks it over with Ted Marchibroda and Marion Campbell. Redskins lead by 4, but the Eagles trying to take the lead. You see the situation. The Redskins tied for the top spot in the NFC East with the Dallas Cowboys. Just a 4-point lead against the Philadelphia Eagles. A game that has seen 3 Washington turnovers in the first half, 2 by Philadelphia. It's been a penalty-filled first half, and a penalty leading to the field position for Philadelphia right now. The Eagles with 1 timeout remaining. Slot to the right. Quick is inside. Mel Hoover is outside. Redskins with a stunt on. Jaworski out of the pocket, fires and misses a wide open Mel Hoover at the 5-yard line. Dexter Manley, he is complaining he was being held. He's over jawing at Jim Tunney. Around the NFL today, we'll check in with Brett Musburger and Irv Cross. All the scores and highlights. Cardinals and Giants with a big game. And a special feature with Irv and Body by Gastineau. New York Jets defensive lineman, very active in children's hospital work. Jaworski will hold for Paul Mcfadden to pull Philadelphia to within a point. A 34-yard attempt by the barefoot rookie out of Youngstown State. Hash mark near side, and the crowd will tell you. 7-6 Washington as we head to halftime. 1 second left on the clock. You know, as you look at Paul Mcfadden over there, his teammates were so enthused and so encouraging all week long, because it could have been such a tough week for the young kicker after having that extra point blocked, but he said everybody was just wonderful.
Well, you know, the press and everybody else, the fans, everybody else is going to get on you for missing something like that, but one group of people you look for comfort, and he got that, was from his teammates, and that was a big plus for Paul Mcfadden. That's why his confidence is still up and why he has 2 field goals here today.
I asked him if he heard from his parents at all, and he said, you know, he said, my brother was watching the game on a satellite dish and had to relay the information home. When he called home, it was like somebody had died in the family. Everybody was so down, but they got back up this week. Mcfadden, a very soft-spoken young man, and a former Youngstown State Penguin, along with Ron Jaworski.
I wonder how it feels kicking with no shoe or no sock on
well,
him.
He's the second barefoot boy in Philadelphia. Tony Franklin was sent packing up to Foxborough and the Patriots. You know, when he kicked in college his freshman year, he kicked with a sock on. His last 3 years was really when he developed the barefoot routine. And, you know, he saw Tony Franklin kicking barefoot on television, and that's what gave him the idea. 1 second left. Eagles don't want to have a big return, so they'll kick the squib kick, and it goes to number 35 for the Skins, Keith Griffin, the rookie out of Miami of Florida, who gets chased out of bounds in front of the Eagle bench. We're at halftime. The Washington Redskins, a touchdown pass, Joe Theismann to Clint Didier for 7 points, and 2 Paul Mcfadden field goals for the Eagles. 7-6 Washington. Scores and highlights with Brennan Erb coming up.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Radio Shack, the computer experts. And by Honda Motorcycles, inventors of the ATC three-wheeler. Honda, follow the leader.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. Back at a sold-out Veterans Stadium here in Philadelphia. Our score, the Redskins 7, the Eagles 6. 2 Paul Mcfadden field goals for Philadelphia. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Kelly. Former Dallas Cowboy All-Pro wide receiver Drew Pearson alongside. The Redskins touchdown set up by a very controversial call. Mark Mosley trying for a field goal. It was just a chip shot, but Kenny Clark, the nose tackle, number 71, came busting through and was called for roughing the kicker. Good call, Drew, or bad call?
I think it's a bad call because Mark Mosley on the play does a great job of acting. They say kickers faking roughing calls this year is illegal, but Mark Mosley gets away with it in this case.
Well, the key call by Jim Tunney, the referee, leading to a Theismann to Clint Didier touchdown pass, and that's the 7-6 score we have at halftime. Kickoff coming up. Skins by 1 over the Eagles, but still 30 minutes to go.
Football League is sponsored by Pontiac. Cars built with a feel for the road. Pontiac, we build excitement. Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. We're going to be there for you. And by Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears.
Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the Redskins leading Philadelphia by just a point, 7-6, because of that crucial call by Jim Tunney, which gave the Redskins a 1st and goal. First half statistics, it's been a defensive struggle, and it's been a mistake-prone first half.
A lot of turnovers there in the first half, especially for the Redskins, a team that doesn't like to make the turnovers or like to force their opponents to make the turnovers, but definitely a defensive struggle in the first half. You can see the improvement in the Eagle defense as they held the Redskins to a total of 95 yards for the first half.
Of that rushing yardage for the Redskins, Riggins has all but 5, 16 carries for 53 yards. Joe Theismann passing 10 out of 17, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 2 fumbles by the Redskins. One by John Riggins. Very unusual for Riggins to fumble the football. As we said, he had come into the game and run over 1,000 plays with Joe Gibbs and his offense, 1,020 to be exact. And Riggins, prior to this, had fumbled the football just 13 times, or once every 78 times he had touched the ball. And There is your old high school teammate. He called himself Joe Thiesman back then, didn't he?
As Joe Thiesman went to Notre Dame. He had to rhyme with Heisman, so they changed it to Theismann. Theismann and Heisman. Didn't win it that year. Had pretty good stats in the first half, but just not getting that yardage. Indication 10 for 17 for 61 yards, so he's thrown to his back and tight ends quite a bit.
What was your nickname back then?
My nickname, I don't care to divulge that at this point, Jim.
Well, let me ask you this. Does the name Chicken Legs ring a bell?
How'd you find that out?
You didn't? We know all sorts of things.
Right? Theismann tell you that.
Was Joe as hyperactive back in high school as he is now?
He certainly was. He was a very aggressive type of guy, and you know, he was a very good athlete in high school, and he would be the first one to tell you.
Paul Mcfadden will tee it up. There is Joe Thiesman, as he called himself, back in South River High for the Rams when he was in high school, and Joe Theismann now. From the 35, Mcfadden, who kicked that 34-yard field goal just before the end of the first half. So the Eagles' defense limiting Washington as far as their offensive scheme of things very effectively in the first half. Will take the field, and Theismann and company will come out. Mike Nelms is back deep. He fumbled a punt, which led to the first Paul Mcfadden field goal from 43 yards out to open up the scoring. 3 Washington turnovers, 2 by Philadelphia. A mistake-prone first half for both, and a penalty-filled first half for the Redskins. A short, high, end-over-end kick. Nelms at the 8. Across the 25 to the 27, but a penalty flag thrown down at the Washington 29-yard line. Joe Hayes, number 80, out of East Carolina State, the first Philadelphia Eagle green and white to get down there, but Jim Tunney, who's had almost as much airtime as Drew Pearson, will have to straighten things out. Illegal use of the hands against the Redskins will back Washington up. 7-6 our score. Redskins on top over Philadelphia. 30 minutes to go in a key game in the NFC East.
Going to the run back, number 50, 10 yards, first down.
That's Larry Cuban out of Penn State. Next Friday, we've got a dandy for you. Boy, how'd you like that to play defense in that? Doug Flutie for the Boston College Eagles, Bernie Kosar for the Miami Hurricanes. That's live at 2:30 Eastern time on Friday. A big college showdown. Of course, Boston College headed to the Cotton Bowl, and then on Saturday, the USC Trojans, who are Rose Bowl bound, playing host to the Fighting Irish live at 3:30. Big college football doubleheader Friday and Saturday. Theismann unloads. Calvin Mohammed across the 25 for a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2. Herm Edwards hanging on.
Calvin Mohammed's first catch in this game. They've filled up. Eagles have been controlling him pretty much in the first half, and as Theismann think, I suspect we'll have to go to him a little more in the second half to open things up a little more for the Redskins. You see the room that they're giving him. The defensive back is not even in the picture there that's covering. You see Mohammed waiting and waiting, and finally Herm Edwards will come up and make the tackle.
Herm Edwards, 8-year veteran out of San Diego State. 2nd and 3. Riggins, the lone running back. Didier reverses direction, and here comes the Diesel. Tries to get outside, hammers his way up close to the 27. Very close to first down yardage with Joel Williams, Dennis Harrison, and Herm Edwards hanging on. I know you had some good battles with Herm Edwards over the year. I talked to him at the Eagles practice the other day, and he talked about free agency, and he was an immediate fan of yours. He said, you guys who beat the system and then come on and able to have a good career, got to hang tough together.
That's right. Everybody can't be drafted, and we certainly weren't, and but we were able to come on and play and show that we can play in the National Football League, and we got an opportunity, was able to take advantage of it. Herm Edwards was a very smart, smooth defensive back.
3rd and 1, double tight for the Redskins. Don Warren, 85, Clint Didier, 86. 35 years young, John Riggins, and loose football, and the Eagles say they've got it. It's loose again. Redskins cover at the 27. And Jim Tunney will have the final call on this. Fouls fell on the football, fumbled by Riggins. Jim Tunney says it's the Eagles' ball. Let's see if we can see if it's Riggins who fumbles the football inside, or is it stripped loose. Riggins, who's already fumbled once, never really had control of the ball, and you see he loses it there running into the back of number 85, Don Warren. So Riggins, who had fumbled only about every 78 times he touched the football, had 13 in his career under Joe Gibbs, has fumbled twice in the same game.
That's 7 fumbles this year for John Riggins. Very uncharacteristic for John Riggins.
Excellent field position for the Eagles, who've been unable to cash in. 2 Mcfadden field goals. Wilbert Montgomery hammers to the 25, maybe down to the 24. Neil Olkowitz, the first Redskin to get there and bump him backwards. You had a chance to talk to Wilbert Montgomery earlier this week at the Eagles practice. He is not as involved in the offensive scheme of things as he would like.
You know, over the years when the Dallas Cowboys used to play the Philadelphia Eagles, the one man you had to stop to beat the Eagles would be Wilbert Montgomery. He would run the football, catch passes, do everything he could to beat your defense. And he's just not involved that much in the scheme of things here for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's not happy about that.
The interesting thing was in the second week of the season when we were here for the game against the Vikings, he called Ted Marchibroda a genius. Slithering down to about the 23-yard line goes number 31 out of Abilene Christian, and Charles Mann, number 71 out of Nevada Reno, came up to make the tackle. You know, talking about Charles Mann, Dave Butch yesterday at the Redskins Hotel, he made quite a statement. He said, he's just getting better and better. He's going to be better than Dexter Manley someday.
Well, Charles Mann is just really learning the defensive end position, and he's put on a lot of weight. He's gotten bigger. He's been lifting weight, and through the experience he's getting because of injuries to the defensive line for the Redskins, he's going to come on before long, I'm sure, as a top player.
Redskins holding the Eagles to 0 for 5 on third down conversions. Jaworski from the shotgun. Hoover has been wide open and dropped 3 balls wide to the left. Jaworski unloads and almost intercepted at the 17-yard line. Tony Woodruff bobbled the ball at the 17, and back there on the coverage, number 22 for the Redskins, also Anthony Washington. But number 22 in the vicinity, Curtis Gordon.
The ball is thrown behind, but if the ball touches your hand, you're supposed to make the catch. Woodruff should have made the catch on that play. It was thrown behind, but those are the ones you got to make. Everybody can make the easy catches. To be a great receiver, you got to make the tough catches.
A 41-yard field goal try. The rookie out of Youngstown State had that extra point blocked by Doug Betters against the Dolphins down in the Orange Bowl last week. That would have tied that game up. He has been the Eagles' offense. Out of Jaworski's hold, 9-7 Philadelphia. He has been perfect from 43, from 34, and now from 41. And watch his reaction with a former Youngstown Stater, Ron Jaworski. Interesting thing about Paul Mcfadden this week, he said you can't lie to your teammates. He knew the kick was low. Some of the people tried to pass it off at the bad blocking against it all. He said, no, I hit it bad. You can't lie to your teammates. Could have been the low spot of his career, but he has rebounded. Mcfadden to Mike Nelms. Look out. Nelms across the 30 and gives the Redskins good field position. A 9-7 game here. Meanwhile, at the Silverdome in Pontiac on Thanksgiving, the Detroit Lions playing host to the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers, as you checked in with Brandon Irv at halftime, defeating the Rams. So Green Bay very much alive in that NFC Central. The Bears, of course, without their quarterback, Jim McMahon, a lacerated kidney. Now that's a big ball game, and it all starts with Brent and company, the NFL Today at noon Eastern time on Turkey Day. At the 31, Theismann. John Riggins, who has fumbled twice, the lone running back. Monk motions across top of the screen. Mohammed to the top. Theismann out of the pocket. Dives to the 45, and it's a Redskin first down. And you saw Dennis Bigfoot Harrison. He wasn't trying to tackle Theismann. You see he had his big arms trying to pull the ball loose.
Well, this is where Theismann is tough. He puts a lot of pressure on the defense. When he gets that back there to throw the football, he pumps it. And that big opening in the middle, he decides to run. He tucks it up under his arm. You see big Dennis Harrison trying to bring him down, and does, just by a grasp.
We mentioned that Theismann had run for 56 yards the first time the Redskins and Eagles met at RFK, and that was a 20-0 Philadelphia shutout. Redskins shut out the Eagles 20-0. Wide open has been Theismann's main man, Clint Didier, across the 50-yard line. We talked about the Lions. They're playing the Bears. Brent's got an update.
All right, Jim, and here it is. The development in Chicago. Watch Danielson escape trouble out of the shotgun. And you get the touchdown pass off to Jeff Chadwick. The Lions are now upsetting the Bears. Still could be a race in the NFC Central. Let's go back to Jim.
Of course, Brent, you remember last week it was Chadwick on 4th and 4 that dropped the touchdown pass from Danielson. That would have pulled the Lions to within just a touchdown with 3.5 minutes left. There goes Riggins down to the 40 in Philadelphia. Another Washington first down. A Diesel in high gear, despite the fact that he has fumbled twice. And watch the blocking by the Hogs over on that left side. Jacoby, 66, Grimm, 68.
Again, the Redskins are not going to fool you. If they're going to run that way, they're going to send Didier in motion to the side they're running. And extra poundage there to block for Riggins. And with the Hogs there, and Riggins 245 pounds following the Hogs, it's tough to stop him.
And I asked Herm Edwards, when the Hogs are out front and Riggins is behind, what's it like when you got that tonnage? He said, you grab grass and holler Geronimo. Riggins fumbles the ball, but out of bounds at the 37-yard line of Philadelphia. Ray Ellis out of Ohio State, another tough hitter in that secondary. Wes Hopkins, maybe the toughest hitter in pro football. Joe Gibbs paid him a terrific compliment. He said he may be the best safety in the NFL.
That is a terrific compliment. You know, one thing about Wes Hopkins, he's not getting interceptions here in Philadelphia. He has 2 this year, but he was the all-time interception leader at SMU. What he's doing in the NFL here is becoming more of a physical player, an aggressive player, and the Redskins wanted him in the draft, but sure enough, Wes Hopkins wasn't going to last that long.
And you saw those gloves. Those gloves made out of the same material they make scuba diving gear. Riggins bounces backwards. He gets back to the line of scrimmage and nothing doing. Great penetration by Anthony Griggs, 58. The nose tackle, Ken Clark, 71. And the rookie out of East Stroudsburg, Mike Reichenbach.
I said it before, the key to stopping Riggins, the Redskin running game, is to create penetration, and watch the penetration the Eagles get. They stop Riggins before he can get going. They just fog everything up. There's nowhere to run.
Big third down call for Theismann and company. Calvin Mohammed wide to the right, slot to the left. Monk is inside. Theismann backpedals. He needs 8. He won't get it. Harvey Armstrong chopped him down from behind. Out of Mosley field goal range, so we'll see Jeff Hayes, the punter.
A great play by Harvey Armstrong to grab Theismann and bring him down, because Theismann had running room upfield. You see Theismann getting a little jittery in the pocket. He feels that pressure. There's Armstrong reaching out and bringing Theismann down by a leg.
Anytime you see the quarterback start that little stutter step with his feet, you know nobody's open in the secondary. Time to improvise, and Joe, who's got more escapes than Houdini, is one of the best. On 4th and 6, you don't think Joe Gibbs would call a fake punt in a situation like this, do you?
Well, they might use it to try to fire their football team up, but it can work against them if they don't make the first down. The 4th down yardage is 6 yards. I would say it's too far to try a fake punt.
Line of scrimmage, only the 36 in Philadelphia, though. Not a bad risk. Hayes, who had 2 punts blocked last week by the Lions, just across the 50. Hangs a high, wobbly kick. Cooper calls for the fair catch at the 13. So the Eagles, who have put the only points on the board here in the second half, a 41-yard field goal by Paul Mcfadden, lead the Redskins 9-7. Mike Quick, in his 3rd year out of North Carolina State, first-round pick in '82, came into the game with 40 catches. No catches in the first half against the Redskins. Hey, back earlier at RFK, he had no catches in the first half either, only ended up with 2 all game. Double coverage. Tony Woodward wide to the left side. Quick to the top of your screen. Jaworski works with the lone running back, Hubie Oliver. Into double coverage, and he misses Mike Quick. Kind of a gamble when you're starting back in your own 13 to throw into that double coverage.
Well, that time Ron Jaworski had made up in his mind before the snap, before they came out the huddle, that they're going to go to Mike Quick. You see the secondary, Darrell Green is up there playing the zone defense, and there comes the help, the safety. They're all coming over there, drawing that attention to Mike Quick. Rightly so.
Ken Coffey, the safety that Drew alluded to, so it's 2nd down and 10. Jaworski now 7 out of 18, just 74 yards passing. The Eagles have rushed for only 39 yards. That rushing statistic won't get any better off that call. Back at the 8-yard line, Dexter Manley, Darrell Grant, and the Redskins are fired up.
The defensive line for the Redskins getting a lot of penetration in the Eagle backfield. There's Dave Butts, Darrell Mann, Charles Mann, Darrell Grant, all making the tackle there. A lot of penetration by the Redskins defensive front four.
The Eagles are marching steadily backward. In the afternoon that their punter, Mike Horan, has had, they really don't want him in there. He's missed 2, and it's cost the Eagles field position. 3rd and 13 for Jaworski from the shotgun. Woodruff left, quick to the right. Washington in as the nickelback for the Skins, and here comes Washington teeing off. Incomplete to Hoover at the 25-yard line. I think Hoover hears footsteps. That's the second pass he's pulled up a little short on. He's not running real good routes.
Well, Ron Jaworski got what he wanted on that play. He wanted man-to-man coverage on Hoover, and he got it to the outside. He threw it out there, but Hoover not coming out of his brakes. It was raining out here a little bit, so the field's a little slick. It's going to be a little more deliberate move for the receivers coming out the break so they don't fall, but there's no timing on that play. The Eagles have to punt the football.
Horan, there is what he's done this afternoon, but one of those kicks was 14 yards off the left side of his foot. He is a left-footed kicker, by the way, and as Drew told you, it puts a different rotation on the ball. He would just like to get it out to Nelms and hang it up there and get that team down to allow the specialty teams some coverage. This time he gets a low spiraling kick. Nelms will field at the 44. Room to the outside. Nelms down to the 35. An excellent field position for Washington. The Redskins on the short end by just 2 points. They pick up 1 first down, and they're within Mosley field goal range. So the Hogs, 1,397 pounds up front. That offensive front of the Washington Redskins walking out onto the field along with the Diesel, John Riggins. Redskins ball from the Eagles 35 when we come back. 7:40 left to go in the 3rd quarter. The Skins on the short end by 2, but they've got great field position at the Philadelphia 35. Riggins rambles to the right side, inside the 30, and look out. A 13-yard pickup for John Riggins. 13th year out of Kansas, signed, a former free agent from the New York Jets.
See the end zone there. The guard, Russ Grimm, and Joe Jacoby on pulling on that play opens up a big hole there for Riggins. They shield everybody off, and Riggins takes it up inside, breaks a couple tackles. It's the first down for the Washington Redskins.
Boy, did they do a 1-2 punch on Reggie Wilkes. 23 carries for Riggins, and he has been the rushing leader. Same play, right side, chopped down at the 30. Picks up 2, 2nd down and 8 in the grasp of Anthony Griggs, number 58, 3rd-year linebacker out of Ohio State. Off the bottom of the pile is number 73 for the Redskins. That's Mark May, 4th year out of Pittsburgh, former number 1 draft pick back in '81. 290 pounds of that 1397, the front 5 of the Hogs. Mark May, usually a right guard, playing the right tackle because of the injury to George Stark. And it's 2nd down and 8. Slot to the left. Monk inside, Muhammad out, Riggins runs right. Diving down underneath goes Ray Ellis. He's got an interception so far this afternoon, and that's what you've got to do with Riggins, is get him down low.
Oh, you got to hit him in the legs. You don't want to hit him high. That's where his strength is. You got to come down. Great picture there of Ellis. Watch him. He reads the run, then he'll come up and watch him. He doesn't take Riggins on up high. He goes right where he's vulnerable most, right in the knees, and brings him right down. Great tackle by Ray Ellis.
And you saw Riggins wrap both arms around the football. John with 2 fumbles so far today. 3rd and 4 from the 16 of Philadelphia. Monk to the right. Mohammed to the left. Jeff Moore's in at running back. Theismann batted down at the 5 on a terrific defensive play. Theismann with the quick release, trying to get it out of the left to Mark McGrath out of Montana State. And a great recovery by Herm Edwards.
Well, it's raining out here. It's mist and the turf is a little slick. The receiver's got to be more deliberate coming out that break. But you see Herm Edwards all over Mark McGrath. He comes in and knocks it off, almost picks off the ball. That ball's got to be thrown out to the sideline a lot more by Joe Theismann.
Nail-biting time for that man, Mark Mosley. He's missed 2 field goals. This a 34-yard try, and it is good. So the Redskins have regained the lead by just a point. How does Mark Mosley, veteran place kicker, 13 years, react, even though he's missed 2? Just another day at the office. Washington leads by 1. Washington by just a point. You don't think the Cowboys struggling up in Buffalo are doing a little scoreboard watching? Former Cowboy?
I'm certainly certainly sure the Cowboys are watching the outcome of this game, but I'm certainly sure that the Eagles and the Redskins are watching what's happening up there in Buffalo.
Giants and Cardinals are watching both games.
Right.
Got a log jam in the NFC East, and Brent will unscramble things back at NFL Today headquarters. Scores and highlights later today. High, but a wobbly kick to Andre Waters, and Waters, a little stutter step dance, and look out! No flags. What a move at the 25-yard line. Andre Waters, and what speed. Jeff Hayes, the punter, had a shot at him. Anthony Washington from Fresno State could not catch up. The longest return for a touchdown off a kickoff was by Billy Canfield for 92 yards against Detroit back in '79, an 89-yard effort, and he brought this sellout crowd at Veterans Stadium to their feet. Redskins are so stunned they only had 10 men out there for the extra point try.
Well, they should be stunned because this is uncharacteristic for the Washington Redskins to have a breakdown in their special teams, especially a breakdown that cost them 6 points.
Mcfadden, who's had 3 field goals, and the extra point is good. This crowd is electrified, and watch, about the 25-yard line, he looked like Drew Pearson on the dance floor. His feet were moving so well.
Well, they got everybody going one way. The Redskins did not have a good pursuit angle on Andre Waters. You've got everybody in the pile, and look at that move there he makes. Breaks that one tackle. All there is Jeff Hayes to outrun. Anthony Washington will come in the picture, but he can't bring down Andre Waters. 89-yard kickoff return. Gets this crowd right back in the game.
He was a 4-year letterman at Cheney State as a defensive back. 4-year letterman at Pahokee High School in Pahokee, Florida. He was in the Army Reserve in '81 and '82.
Showed some speed there, too. Anthony Washington couldn't catch him. Boy, what a thrill for a rookie in a tight game, NFC East battle. Washington, Philadelphia, and he runs the kickoff back 89 yards to give his team back the lead 16-10.
You don't think he'll get a game ball? Right now, the concern all over the faces of Joe Theismann and Joe Gibbs. They knew coming in they would have their hands full after looking at films of the Eagles against the Dolphins.
Well, they're thinking now what they got to do to get back in this football game, get their football team back on top. They're not going to panic yet. There's only 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Still got a lot of football to play.
Mcfadden, the barefoot boy, the rookie from Youngstown State, a high end over end kick taken by Nelms across the 25. Down at the 26-yard line, and listen to the crowd. doubleheader weekend next week here on CBS. The first half of our doubleheader Sunday, you'll see either these same Eagles taking on the Cardinals or the banged-up Atlanta Falcons against the Cincinnati Bengals. The second half of the game, the 49ers, of course, trying to clinch the best record in the NFC West and clinch home field advantage for as far as they can go in the playoffs, taking on Bum Phillips and the New Orleans Saints. It all starts with the NFL Today next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern Time on CBS Sports. The rain pounding down harder. Theismann goes airborne. Pump fake, and Theismann will go down. Still picks up 2 yards, second down and 8. Good pursuit by Greg Brown from behind. Greg Brown was pushed around by Joe Jacoby. In fact, Greg Brown told us, he said, Jacoby could have pushed me back to the goalpost if he wanted to. He was like a big bully out there. But Brown, he beefed up, he put on lots of weight, worked on weights in the offseason. And against Jacoby and the Redskins, the first time they met this year, Greg Brown had 14 tackles. Second down and 8. Monk motions across to the right side. Calvin Mohammed wide to the left. Riggins, the lone running back. That's Didier, top of the screen. Or Didier. Theismann unloads to number 85, Don Warren, the tight end, for a short pickup across the 30 to the 32. You know, we talk about players perhaps looking ahead to other games. The old adage is you take them one game at a time. How about above Joe Jacoby's locker? We saw this last week before the Detroit Lions game. It was a newspaper clipping from the Sporting News, and it pointed out Greg Brown wasn't going to be pushed around anymore.
Well, Greg Brown had said he had enough of Joe Jacoby, 300 pounds, so Greg Brown went out and beefed up to 260 pounds, and he doesn't get pushed around anymore.
We told Greg Brown about that newspaper clipping. He said, I didn't know Jacoby admired me that much. 6 defensive backs in for the Eagles. Theismann unloads. He's got Didier at the 35, and Didier is pounded backwards. The first Eagle to get there was number 48, Wes Hopkins, helped out by Ray Ellis.
Boy, what's some fierce hitting going on. These Eagles are fired up. It's a short pass to Didier. He caught this pass all through the first half, but he can't hold on this time. He gets leveled by Wes Hopkins. Should have known. Wes Hopkins in on that hit along with Herm Edwards.
Out.
This is a very physical football game, Jim.
Hayes and what he's done this afternoon. It is always difficult to beat the same team twice in the same season, especially if you shut them out. If you humiliate them the first time, that revenge motive, and the Eagles told us about that. They were mad this week.
That's what happens in the NFC East. You have these types of battles. Whatever happened in the first game, throw it out the window because we got a new encounter here.
Great hang time by Hayes. Cooper catches the ball at the 33. Philadelphia retains possession. It'll be 1st and 10 for Jaworski and company. We've got a dandy going on at sold-out Veterans Stadium. The Eagles by 6 over Washington, but we've got a long way to go. 3:06 left to go, third quarter. Well, they called you chicken legs. You see what they called me here for 3.5 years.
What was that for? Sportsman?
We've got a dandy going on at Veterans Stadium. Big shootout in the NFC East. The Redskins on the short end by 6, and their defense would like to force a turnover here. Double tight end for the Eagles, Spagnola and Vito Cav. Woodruff wide to the left side. Looked to me like the running back, Haddix, might have anticipated the count and been in motion, but no flag. He was just a fraction ahead of the snap.
Yeah, he was leaning a little bit, but they got away with it, and fortunately they got away with it. You see it's cold out there. Jaworski's trying to keep his hands warm.
Around the NFL today, Cincinnati having all sorts of problems with Seattle. At Riverfront Stadium, Green Bay having no problems with the Rams. Packers, I'll tell you, I give them the inside shot to win that division. I said it 2 weeks ago. Cardinals and Giants in a slugfest, and they're watching this game, at least watching the scoreboard, because St. Louis and New York just one game behind Washington and Dallas for the top spot. Jaworski, a little stutter step to Wilbert Montgomery, and Montgomery cracks his way across the 40, but he'll be shy of first down yardage. Blocking over on that right side by Ron Baker, number 63, and by Leonard Mitchell. The Eagles' running game criticized earlier in the year. Ron Baker said, hey, each week the coach says we've got to get the running game going. Well, the way to get the running game going is to call some running plays. They got away from it a little bit.
Well, Wilbur Montgomery, before coming into this game, only had carried the football 135 times, and that's far less of a workload than he's used to.
Giants tack on a field goal, so they've got a 2-point lead against the Cardinals. Eagles 0 for 7 in third down conversions. Looking at 3rd and 1. 3 tight ends are in for Philadelphia. Nothing doing. Michael Haddix may have gotten it on extra effort. He had to get up to the 44-yard line. Curtis Jordan came diving through out of Texas Tech. It all depends on that crucial spot.
It was a tough call on that play. They kind of went away from their strength. They tried to go to the outside instead of taking a quick hitter up the middle. And the Redskins were able to gain penetration.
Yeah, how about the play call going wide like that when you only need a yard? A play takes so long to develop.
Yeah, it's tough, and it gives your defense a chance to get penetration into your offensive backfield. That's why we got a measurement here. The quick hitter, quarterback sneak, something like that is more effective in this situation.
They'll stretch out the chains and
decision time.
About 3-4 inches.
Decision
How about
time.
this call? Marion Campbell says go for it. Well, you're 4-6-1. You're trying to build a program, get some confidence back in. Nothing to lose.
Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be a great confidence builder if they make this first down. But on the other side of the coin, it can work against them if the Redskins stop the Eagles 26, in this situation.
Haddix 26 and Oliver 34 are the running backs. Sampleton, Cab, and Spagnolia the tight ends. Of course, Jaworski could make the long count and try to get the Redskins to jump.
Possibility.
Not now. Haddix will not get the first down. Great penetration from the left side of that Redskin front four. Neil Olkowitz, Dave Butts. Jim Tunney, our referee, will call for the chains again, but I don't think he was even close to it unless...
If he got it, he got that on his second effort because he certainly was stopped on his initial charge. The Eagles are saying they got the first down. Going to call for a measurement from that spot. It doesn't look like they're going to get it.
Spagnola out of Yale just signaled first down. Those Ivy League guys aren't wrong, are they?
He should know.
Marion Campbell, former head coach of Atlanta, defensive coordinator here under Dick Vermeil for 6 years in his second season. I'll tell you.
It's all in the spot. It's where you spot the football. It's not where you end up. It's where the referee spots that football. And the Eagles got the advantage there with the spot. First down.
By about the width of the pole. Word from the Eagles bench now on Mike Quick, who has no receptions. He has a sore left knee. He's expected back. Tony Woodruff, 83, wide receiver to the left side. And Mel Hoover, 85, deployed to the top of your screen. Very important measurement went the way of the Eagles. Jaworski can run. Unloads and a great catch, incomplete. Vito Cab had the ball at the 40. Jaworski, a bit of an escape artist as well. Penalty flag down, however, back at the Philadelphia 40. Should be against the Eagles. It is. Boy, Jaworski was running for his life back there.
Well, he tried to buy time in that pocket. The Redskins put a lot of pressure on Jaworski that time with just a 4-man rush. No blitzing in that situation, and Jaworski was just trying to buy time. In doing so, one of his linemen pushed on the play.
Use of the hands, 74, 10 yards, down remains the first.
That's Leonard Mitchell, all 6'7", 285 pounds of him. Again, he was drafted, the man you're looking for here is 74. He was drafted #1 by the Eagles as a defensive end.
You can see at the top of the screen, Leonard Mitchell there. Charles Mann gets around him, and Mitchell just pushes him to the inside. Can't do that. Look how big Leonard Mitchell is. 6'7", 285.
First and 20 for Jaworski. loads to Vito Cav, and Cav barrels to the 43. Jaworski just barely got rid of that. Dave Butts was bearing in, number 65, along with Charles Mann, number 71.
Good job by Jaworski, though, to remain cool under that type of pressure and dump it off the Cav. They picked up about 9 yards on that play.
Asked Dave Butts yesterday if he had an idol when he was growing up. He said yes, Dick Butkus. Asked him if he ever got Butkus's autograph. He said no, but I did get his autograph from my mom.
Mom was a fan, too.
Jaworski, 8 out of 20, just 83 yards, 1 interception, a lot of drop passes. His receivers have not been doing a real good job. Penalty flag down, as is Jaworski back at the Eagle 30. Dave Butts out of Purdue. Came over as a free agent, signed from the St. Louis Cardinals. Face mask, I believe, against the Washington Redskins. And maybe Charles Mann. Boy, Jaworski is going to be black and blue. He had his bell rung in the first half, and anytime you get that face mask, you get that neck snap.
Well, he'll take it on this one. It's a big penalty. Big break for the Eagles.
You know, in talking to Jaworski Friday after the Eagles practice, there was fire in his eyes. He wanted to play the game right then. He said, we are a much better football team than our record would indicate. They've had good practices all season long, he said, and he credited Marion Campbell for being the glue that held the team together early.
And also, they just got through playing probably the best team in the National Football League. The record indicates that anyway, the Miami Dolphins, and they played them even. So that gave their football team a lot of confidence, and they just wanted to get back out there on the football field to prove that they are a good football team, and they got a chance here against the Washington Redskins.
5-yard face mask foul is measured from the spot where the ball was dead. 5 yards, but that will return the ball to the line of scrimmage. It'll still be second down. Second down.
Second down and 11. Watch number 71 on our replay now, and as he gets the face mask of Jaworski.
Well, they run a stunt here. Dave Butts, watch him take 2 linemen with him. That frees man to come inside. He just busts through the block and comes in and grabs Jaworski by the face mask, slows Jaworski up.
Yeah, that would.
And then here comes the finishing touches by Butts.
7 penalties, 99 yards against the Redskins. Marion Campbell is a big Ron Jaworski fan. He said he's an extremely tough person. He's very determined. He's got a tough hide, and in Philadelphia you sometimes need it. The Boo Birds here, they can turn on you very quickly if you're the quarterback.
Well, I've played a lot of cases here when the Cowboys have been up, and Ron Jaworski has been booed right here in the stadium, but through the events of the game, things have changed, and he's pulled out the game for the Eagles. So he's a tough quarterback, a tough competitor.
115 straight starts give you an idea of how durable he is. Second and 11. Skins with a stunt on. Eagles pick it up. Haddix hangs onto the ball and dives to the 50. He'll be about 4 yards shy of first down yardage. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. The Eagles were looking at a 1st and 20. So the third quarter winding down. The Eagles having regained the lead after that 89-yard return. It's 16-10. In favor of Philadelphia. Now we pause for a word from your local station.
The league is sponsored by Chevrolet, who invite you to see, drive, and live today's Chevrolet. Lowenbrau, when it's time for the taste of a truly great beer, let it be Lowenbrau. And by Wang. Wang puts people in front of computers.
Along with former Dallas Cowboy All-Pro wide receiver Drew Pearson, I'm Jim Kelly. Welcome back to a sold-out Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Eagles 0 for 8 on 3rd down conversions, looking at 3rd and 4. They lead 16-10. Mel Hoover motions across. Jaworski shovel pass to Williams. Look out! Inside the 35 of the Skins. Harry Brooks hanging on, prevented a touchdown. The shovel pass to Jaworski. His wide receiver core depleted. His favorite wide receiver, number 88, the tight end, is out. John Spagnola and Mike Quick out with a bad knee. So Williams picks up the slack and picks up a 1st down.
Boy, timing is everything on that play. And you kind of play, you have in your game plan, but you got to use it at the right time to make it effective. And the Redskins were really coming on that play. And Michael Williams just took it up inside for the first down.
16-10, a 6-point Philadelphia lead. Redskins have to keep the Eagles off the scoreboard. Wilbert Montgomery explodes across the left side. Dives down to the 30 in the grasp of Curtis Jordan. Blocking on the left side by Dean Maraldi and by Steve Kenny.
Eagles got a good drive going here as we see Curtis Jordan there strapping his helmet back on after tackling Wilbert Montgomery. But the Eagles got a great drive going here. They got to keep it going and not create the turnovers that had cost them earlier in this game.
Eagles will go with a double tight end alignment. Spagnola back in for blocking along with Vito Cab, 88 and 84. Hoover wide to the bottom, Woodruff to the top. Williams diving down inside the 33. That's Michael Haddix, out of Mississippi State. So it'll bring up 3rd and short for the Eagles, working cautiously into Paul Mcfadden field goal range. If you're thinking 3 points, it would be a 9-point Philadelphia advantage, so the Redskins would have to score twice. If Washington can force a turnover and keep the Eagles out of the end zone or off the scoreboard as far as a field goal is concerned, Redskins can win it with just a touchdown.
Well, you thought that last 3rd down, 3rd and 4 was a big one. This is a real big one here, 3rd and 2. Eagles 1 out of 9 in 3rd down situations.
Woodruff wide to the right side. Montgomery, 31, in as a wide receiver in a slot. Quick snap. Inside handoff, and the Eagles will not get a first down with that play. Haddix, and the hole was stuffed. Nothing doing. Blocking up front by Denard and Baker, but Butts and Olkowitz with a good penetration. Watch 65 and 52.
Dave Butts makes this play, gets that penetration, beats the block there. And Olkowitz coming in from the outside to clean it up. Good penetration there by the Redskin defense.
Back to the rookie, Paul Mcfadden. He's been perfect so far this afternoon from 43, from 34, and from 41. This will be a 45-yard try out of former schoolmate Ron Jaworski's hold. Eagles lead by 9. It's short. It was right between the uprights and is short. That's a shocker.
He just didn't have the distance. Looked like he got under it a little too much, and in doing so didn't get that power on the football. It had the angle, but just didn't have the distance. Looks like he got under it to kick a little bit, got the height on it, get it over the Redskin line, but no distance on the play, 45 yards out. He's trying to egg it on there, Paul Mcfadden, but nothing doing.
Redskins need just a touchdown to regain the lead. 12-19 left. Redskins trail by 6 here at the vet. Theismann gives off to John Riggins, and he bowls his way across the 30 up near the 32-yard line. Joe L. Williams, 59, out of Wisconsin La Crosse, the man that got to the Diesel first. 66 is Jacoby, 98 is Brown. They got a good battle in the trenches.
That's a lot of weight going against each other, and they're really struggling. They're really fighting. You see Brown, he's not giving a lot of ground there, even though that 300-pound Jacoby's leaning on him. Jacoby keeps him out of the play, so it's a plus for Jacoby on that play.
25 carries, 91 yards for John Riggins. And here he comes again. Down at the 34-yard line by nose tackle Kenny Clark.
But Clint Didier is going to be tired. All that motion he's doing today. I remember in Dallas that I had to do that quite a bit in our offensive scheme of things. But the Redskins, when they see Didier going in motion, they're usually going to run the ball to that side. They're not trying to fool anybody, just trying to get as many blockers over there as possible to open it up for that man, John Riggins.
Now, we talked about those 25, now 26 carries from John Riggins. Washington looking at 3rd down. They are 5 out of 11 on 3rd down conversions. They need 4. Riggins is out. Jeff Moore is in. Theismann to Jeff Moore. Cannot hang on at the 40-yard line. Albert Fowles was back there along with Ray Ellis. Moore, who had a touchdown catch last week against the Lions. That's a catchable ball at the 40.
Catchable ball, but Albert Fowles stuck his arm in there to knock it away. Watch him. He sticks that arm in there and knocks it away, and Roynell Young's going to have a hard time getting his job back from Albert Fowles because He's having a heck of a year. Heck of a game today.
He's having a heck of a year today.
Yeah, in one game.
Jeff Hayes back to do the punting. A 38.5-yard average today. And back to receive, Evan Cooper, who's had some concentration lapses. Should have made a fair catch in the first half, didn't. Missed snap by Hayes, and he's in trouble. Hayes gets away. A great kick. Down at the 17. What an effort by Jeff Hayes. Looked like a rugby scrum. Hayes was in trouble. He had a bad snap last week against the Lions. This one, it's raining, keep in mind, just slithers through his hands. Now he'll let the first man go by, a little dance out to the right side, and then he'll get it away. And watch what hit by number 87, Lawrence Sampleton. This telecast presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Philadelphia Eagles and the National Football League prohibited. 10:41 left to go in this football game. A 6-point Philadelphia lead. The stats on Ron Jaworski. Hubie Oliver, the rock man, runs into a couple of rocks around that left side. Dexter Manley, 4th year out of Oklahoma State. Wrap those huge redwood-like arms around the rock. Short pickup of 1 brings up 2nd down and 9. We mentioned throughout the telecast it's the first sellout here in Philadelphia. The Redskins, a good draw on the road and outstanding at home. What, 138 straight sellouts back at RFK? They're used to playing before packed houses. Slot to the right. Tony Woodruff is outside and Mel Hoover is inside. Wilbert Montgomery, 31, back in for Philadelphia. Jaworski diving out of bounds goes Wilbert Montgomery. He was about Jaworski's 4th choice.
Good coverage in the secondary by the Redskins, but good time for Jaworski to throw the football. That time he had time to look at 3 different receivers and finally go to Wilbert Montgomery.
Around the NFL today, Buffalo still leading the Cowboys. That's a huge shocker. So in terms of tightening up the NFC East, we'll tell you about that in a second. Bengals have all sorts of problems against the Seahawks. Seattle wins on Monday night and goes 3 time zones and has no let-up. Green Bay, no problem with the Rams. The Redskins and the Cowboys both losing in the NFC East. The Eagles and Giants are playing each other. So that logjam could get even more convoluted. And that's a drop ball by Wilbert Montgomery. That's just lack of concentration.
Well, he dropped the ball, but he really wasn't ready to catch that ball. He was still trying to turn around to get into the pass pattern. Ron Jaworski kind of threw it there a little quick before Montgomery was ready to make the play. Didn't have time to adjust to the ball.
Following a terrific 50-yard punt by Jeff Hayes under all sorts of pressure, Mike Horan out of Long Beach State has not had a good afternoon. 1 14-yarder thrown in there. We'll kick it away to Mike Nelms or to Darrell Green. This time Horan hangs up a beauty. A high spiral. It backs Green up to the 30. A penalty flag is down. Green looks for the wall and runs into one. Penalty flag is down, however, and it should back the Redskins up even further. We'll have to check with Jim Tunney, the referee. Talk about a busy afternoon. He's had control of this football game.
Well, he's one of the top officials in the National Football League. You see the call there. One of my favorite officials because he always gave the receivers time to get back to the huddle once they run them 30, 40-yard routes. Time to get our breath and get back to the huddle before he signals the start of the next play.
Goes around the country and makes a lot of motivational speeches. He is quite a speaker.
Early use of the hands during the run back. Number 51. 10 yards, final foul, 1st down.
The culprit was Monty Coleman. So the Redskins will start 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. 9:33 left to go. All Washington needs is a touchdown. And keep in mind the Cowboys are losing. While we were away on the message board here at the vet, they were showing great battles between the Eagles and Cowboys. We got to see old chicken legs in action.
A lot of booze, too.
Keith Griffin is the running back. Riggins gets a rest. Didier, the tight end. Here goes a convoy for number 35, the rookie out of Miami of Florida. He gets pounded out of bounds. Picks up 4 tough yards. Brings up second down and 6. The NFC East going into today. Washington and Dallas tied for the top spot, but we told you at the top of the telecast, the Giants and Cardinals looming right behind, and they're battling at the Meadowlands this afternoon. Cowboys are losing in Buffalo. Redskins are losing here. So if those scores stand, that would be a 7-5 record for both, and that game, that could go right down to the wire.
That makes the Philadelphia Eagles' chances a lot better. They only got 6 losses. They need to win this game today.
They've got another shot at the Cowboys on December the 2nd. That's Don Warren, the tight end. Motion to the top of your screen. Theismann airborne. Fires over the middle into triple coverage and almost intercepted at the 40 of Philadelphia. Looking for Clint Didier, who they use as a wide receiver. And in the vicinity for Philadelphia, number 48, Wes Hopkins. The roar at the vet. They have posted the Buffalo-Dallas score. Keep in mind, Philadelphia 4-6-1 coming in. If they could win this game, they will go to 5-6-1, and there the Giants have scored now against the Cardinals. Well, you got to keep your eye on the scoreboard if you're in the NFC East. 6 defensive backs in for the Eagles. Roynell Young and Bernard Wilson. Theismann needs 7. He wants it all. He looks for Calvin Mohammed. Intercepted by Herm Edwards. The 29th career interception for the former free agent out of San Diego State. Gloves and all.
Well, I learned in my seven years of encounters with Herm Edwards, you don't beat Herm Edwards deep. He gives a lot of ground. He reads the quarterback very well. And here he becomes a wide receiver. And watch this catch he makes. He just goes up. That's what the coaches like to teach their defensive backs. Catch that ball at the highest point. And Herm Edwards does it, holds on, and keeps his feet in bounds. First down, Eagles.
You know, Calvin Mohammed actually overran the ball that Theismann threw, making it easier for Herm Edwards, who now is tied for second on the Eagles' all-time interception list with Don Burrows with 29. Bill Bradley, the career leader, with 34. First and 10, Philadelphia. That's the 5th Washington turnover. QB Oliver. Hammered out of bounds at the 25 of Philadelphia. Picks up 3 tough yards. Second down and 7. Vernon Dean. You know about the physical play of Vernon Dean. Bumped him out.
Vernon Dean's very physical, aggressive cornerback. He leads the tie for the NFC lead with 6 interceptions. He's got some real big forearms and biceps, and he's not that big of a man, but his arms are very noticeable, and he likes to use them to bring tacklers, ball carriers down.
You saw that shot of a frustrated Joe Theismann on the sideline. Lots of time left if you're a Redskin fan. However, 9:06 left to go. Theismann works that clock as well as anybody, and we talked about it at the just before halftime. Joe says, give me one timeout and I can take the team 80 yards in about 55 seconds. First down for Philadelphia, across the 32 for Wilbert Montgomery. Blocking on the left side by Mark Denard and Steve Kenny.
Well, this looks like Eagle football of old because Wilbert Montgomery is back in the scheme of things in the Eagle game plan. You see that good blocking up front by Steve Kenny. Shuts off the inside, and Montgomery finds the hole and picks up some big yardage. First down.
Eagles working on the clock inside of 8.5 when the ball is snapped now. Philadelphia nursing that 6-point lead. QB Oliver, Wilbert Montgomery, and I'll tell you, knifing through, they had the safety blitz, Ken Coffey.
Well, Ken Coffey sees something in this formation here from the scouting report. He's coming all the way. He puts a good lick on Wilbert Montgomery, shakes that lick, but he's not going to shake this lick from Dave Buss as he pins him to the turf.
You know, as you see the strong safety, Ken Coffey, all the battles the Cowboys had with the Redskins, Tom Landry's philosophy, you had to block the strong safety.
If you want to run the football against the Redskins defense, you have to block the strong safety, because they like to use their strong safeties to come up in force and stop the run.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, near the 41-yard line. Out of Yale, John Spagnola, the tight end. He had 44 catches coming in, the leading receiver for Philadelphia. Going back to blocking the strong safety, Landry liked to use the wide receivers. That was his philosophy. You had a different philosophy.
Well, I had a different philosophy because their strong safeties at that time when I was playing was either Kenny Houston or Tony Peters, and those guys were noted for their devastating forearm. And sometimes I didn't want to go in there and block those guys because my philosophy was to live to play another day.
You saw that graphic and what the Eagles tight ends have done this year. Of course, they were without Spagnola, number 88 last year, because of a cervical disc problem in his neck. 1 out of 11 on 3rd down conversions. 3 tight ends are in. Jaworski play action fake. Out of the backfield. He'll loop for Vito Cab. Right in front of the Redskins bench, and what a catch by Vito Cab. Twisting the wrong way, brought his body back to the ball.
Well, Jaworski looks like he wants to go deep on this play, but they got good coverage downfield, so he's just going to put a little touch on the ball and try to get it up there for Cab. Well, look at that catch by Vito Cab. Not really noted for his catching ability, more noted for his blocking ability, but he went up and made a heck of a catch on that play. Another first down for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Cab with 4 catches coming in for the season, 3 catches so far for 42 yards here this afternoon. Inside of 6 minutes when the ball is snapped, the Eagles 1st and 10 from midfield. Hubie Oliver bangs for 2 tough yards over the middle in the grasp of Neil Olkowitz, deputy sheriff in the offseason with a degree in criminal justice. Some of the calls so far this afternoon could fall into that category.
Have been criminal, very criminal to both teams.
5 turnovers against the Washington Redskins. Their defense would like to force a turnover here. Keep in mind, Washington cannot afford to allow Philadelphia a field goal. Eagles lead by 6. And Jaworski did well to hang on to the football. Sacked back at his 42-yard line. Darryl Grant came crashing through.
Well, that time Darryl Grant just overpowered his man, Leonard Mitchell, on the play and just kept coming. You see him take the outside rush. That's Ron Baker there and Leonard Mitchell trying to stop Darryl Grant. He just overpowers him, and Jaworski did a good job of holding on to the football.
3rd sack of the football game by the Skins. You see the time left in this football game. They've used up, the Eagles have, about 4 minutes.
They controlled the ball here in the second half. Scored 6 points here in the second half. Excuse me, 10 points in the second half and ate up most of the clock.
3rd and 16. Ricky Smith in at nickelback for the Skins. Underneath, and that is simply a drop pass. Michael Williams. I think Jaworski has had at least 8 passes dropped. Between Michael Williams, Wilbert Montgomery, Tony Woodruff, and Mel Hoover.
Don't forget Michael Haddix, because he dropped a couple too. But that was a case of running with the football before you had your hands on it. A little excited. Got to wait and feel that thing, tuck it on the arm, and then take off downfield.
Horan and what he's done, including a 14-yarder. His last one was a beauty, however. Punting to Mike Nelms, who certainly would like to break one big and set up the Skins in good field position here. Nelms with 1 fumble on a punt, leading to the first Eagle field goal by Mcfadden. Mike Nelms, 3-time Pro Bowler, awaits this kick. It's a low, wobbly kick. It'll hit at about the 25 and bounce for the Eagles. Nelms fields it at the 15, and that's where he's going to go down.
Great coverage by the Philadelphia Eagles, led by Anthony Griggs and Byron Darby on the play.
Theismann likes to say he can take him 80 yards with 54 seconds. Well, he's got 4:26 left to go, and he needs a touchdown. The leaders in the NFC East, the co-leaders were the Cowboys, but Dallas is losing. The Redskins are losing. Washington with their back up against it. 4.5 left to play, and they are 85 yards away. Calvin Mohammed down at the 20-yard line, a pickup of 5. It brings up 2nd and 5. For Calvin Mohammed, that's just his 3rd catch of the game, and he's their big play weapon.
He's the big play man. He's their game breaker, the one that could get the Redskins back in this football game. And Theismann went back to their basic game plan. And you got a penalty on that play, Jim.
It's against the Redskins. Here's Jim Cunning. So that 5-yard pickup is negated. It's now 1st and 15. What a find by Bobby Beathard, the general manager of the Redskins, when they went out and got Calvin Mohammed. Since coming over from the Raiders back in October, he has 26 catches for 380 yards. 7 catches last week for 105 yards against the Lions. Keith Griffin, 35, is in. John Riggin, 44, is out. Art Monk motions to the top. Little Joe unloads to Art Monk, and Monk cracks it back to the 25, so Theismann gets it all back. You know, we talked about Theismann's personality in high school. He was the spark plug of that high school team. It's been that way since coming to the Skins.
That's right, and he has that abundance of confidence that he can overcome any type of situation. Fortunately, in high school, we had a great football team, and he didn't have to bring our football team from behind. But I played against him long enough to know that confidence in this situation just spills throughout the rest of his offensive football team.
3:40 and counting left in this game. Floating pocket by Theismann. Sacked back behind the 20 by Dennis Bigfoot Harrison and Jody Schultz. I'll tell you what, Jody Schultz has had an outstanding afternoon for Philadelphia.
Well, he's been filling in for Reggie Wilkes. Wilkes has been in there. Schultz has been in there. It's been kind of alternating, but Schultz has had an excellent football game. You see Theismann, they're trying to buy some time, but he just can't find nowhere receivers open downfield and nowhere to run.
The nickname of Jody Schultz is Body Snatcher. The Eagles found out about his ability when East Carolina was playing Temple here at Veterans Stadium, and Marion Campbell spotted an old acquaintance and asked if he knew any good pass rushers, and he said, try our guy Jody Schultz. 2nd and 15 for Theismann. A little screen to Keith Griffin. Nothing doing because number 59, Joel Williams, stayed at home.
Good football play, even though it wasn't very successful. The Eagles are getting a lot of pressure on Theismann, so to negate some of that pressure, they're going to try to throw a screen out here to Griffin. But you see Williams just hanging, watching Griffin, and watch him come up on the bottom of the screen and make the play. Keith Griffin's a tough man to bring down in open field, but Williams will do it. Gets his head right in there.
Now you've got a key call. 3rd and 12. You see the time left in this football game. Jeff Moore in there at running back number 30 for Theismann, but he'll have to throw. Art Monk, and that's a 1st down.
Boy, what a big play. The clutch man, Art Monk, the leading receiver in the National Football League coming into this game. Before that play, the Redskins were 0 for 6 in 3rd down conversions. You see it, Theismann getting the time to throw the football.
And he throws it on a rope.
And he lays it out there. What a throw, what a catch. Excellent execution by Art Monk, Joe Theismann.
Monk now 6 catches, 55 yards, but none bigger in this game than that one on a 3rd and 12. We're at the 2-minute warning. It's 1st and 10 Washington from their own 39-yard line. The Redskins trail Philadelphia by 6.
Giving that
Jim Kelly and Drew Pearson, welcome back to sold-out Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, where the Eagles 4, 6, and 1, scratching and clawing their way, and right now an upset. They're leading the Washington Redskins by 6 points with just 2 minutes left to go. It's 1st and 10 for Theismann and the Skins. Slot to the left. And now Didier goes wide to the right. Motion across by Art Monk. He came up with that key 3rd down catch. Theismann in trouble, gets away, unloads, and he's got Art Monk again. How Joe Theismann found Art Monk, because Darby was in his face, as was Bigfoot Harrison, and somehow Joe knew where Art Monk would be.
Oh, it's great improvisation improvisation by Art Monk there to adjust his route. You see Theismann being pressured, and this time, while all that's going on, Art Monk is adjusting his route and finding an open area, and Theismann was able to find him.
It'll be second and short when we come back as the Redskins approach midfield. Washington trails by 6. A touchdown will do it. They have just fixed the clock here at Veterans Stadium. It was out for one play. There is the time remaining. And, of course, the Redskins with 2 timeouts left. Coming up next, Brent Irv and Jimmy the Greek for the NFL postgame show, scores and highlights from around the NFL today. And there's some big upsets. Buffalo over the Cowboys. Try that one on. The Giants stuffing St. Louis. There'll be a logjam again in the NFC East. Theismann trying to pull it out. Unloads, and it is dropped at the 43 of Philadelphia by Art Monk. You won't see that happen too often.
Not often at all. Art Monk working again across the defensive secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, again trying to find that open area. He found it again, but wasn't able to hold on to the pass by Joe Theismann.
You know, the Eagles scored on a field goal by Paul Mcfadden. Philadelphia scoring first after a Mike Nelms fumble. The Redskins have lost 7 of the last 9 games where their opponents have scored first. If this score stands, that streak would continue. Theismann looks at 3rd and 2. Good protection. Incomplete, and almost it is. And then it's dropped again. A hot potato that Anthony Griggs tried to run with before pulling it in. It's the old volleyball drill. The wide receiver batted it up in the air. A couple of Eagles had a shot at it, and Griggs could not pull it down.
Well, it looked like they were playing volleyball on this play. They're trying to go to Don Warren on the play. It hits him. He drops it. That's 1. Hit the linebacker Reichenbach there. That's 2. Jody Schultz, 3. Griggs, 4. Almost pulls it in. 5. He touched it twice.
The ball game on the line right here. Do you put Riggins back in and run for it? You do not. Jeff Moore is the running back. Didier wide left. Mohammed wide to the right with Art Monk. Redskins need 2 yards for a first down or turn out the lights. First down, Washington into Eagle territory at the Philadelphia 49. Jeff Moore. Theismann in the hurry-up offense. 2 timeouts left.
Big clutch play. Big play by Jeff Moore. New addition to the Redskins coming over from the San Francisco 49ers.
6 defensive backs in for Philadelphia. Bernard Wilson and Roynell Young. Theismann backpedals. Fires over the middle. That's a great catch by Art Monk. Eagles are saying it's not a catch, but I think it is. It was a tremendous effort by Monk, and I'm surprised. Wait a minute now. There is a flag in the backfield of the Redskins. Jim Tunney detecting holding on Ken Huff. I'm surprised that there was no flag thrown on the defender. I thought he was over the back of Art Monk.
It looked like he was covering him pretty close, but Art Monk came up with the ball.
That is Ken Huff, 10 years out of North Carolina, detected holding. See if we can pick it up on the left-hand side of your screen.
See Huff trying to get protection for his quarterback, Joe Theismann. He grabs the back of the jersey of Dennis Harrison there, and the ref spots it. A great catch by Monk. Great job of holding on the ball with Albert Fowles all over his back. All for naught.
Put a saddle on him. Fowles could ride him. 1st and 20. Skins are in trouble. Pump fake by Joe, and he wants it all for Calvin Mohammed. Incomplete inside the 10. Wes Hopkins on the coverage, and the Redskins are livid. They want pass interference on Calvin Mohammed, but no flags. You're a former wide receiver. You call it.
They get nothing on this play because Mohammed loses balance on his own. He's looking at the ball. He's trying to make an adjustment on the ball and watch him go down on his own. Nobody touches him. Starts to fall, and he goes down. He runs into Wes Hopkins. Stop Wes Hopkins from making an interception.
Almost an interception by Hopkins falling backwards. It's 2nd and 20. The 10 penalties, 124 yards against the Washington Redskins. The most penalties assessed against a Joe Gibbs coach team since he took over the reins in Washington. Time left, down in distance. Skins need a big play. In fact, they need about 3 of them. Out of the backfield, Jeff Moore is wide open. Theismann goes instead to Art Monk. My, oh my, what a catch by Art Monk. The ball was thrown behind him. Fowles was in front of it. You talk about concentration.
Concentration and adjustment. That's Art Monk. He made a heck of a play there. Theismann just threw it up there, hoping that receiver of Art Monk's caliber can come down with it. You see Art Monk on the inside running that route. He's coming out. He's well covered there by Albert Fowles. But watch him put on the brakes and come back and make the catch. Great concentration by Art Monk. Super play.
8 catches, 80 yards for the NFL's leading wide receiver. 41 seconds left to go. Washington with 2 timeouts, now just 1 remaining. It's 3rd and 4 for the Redskins, but they're definitely in 4-down situation.
There's no question about that, but the key here is who they're thinking about going to. Joe Gibbs and Joe Theismann are on the sideline discussing it. The only man that's been open so far in this drive has been Art Monk.
How about Calvin Mohammed? We, in covering the Skins last week, had a chance to talk with Joe Gibbs. He pulls up short sometimes on the short routes. They keep going deep to him, but I would think with his great speed, you try to get him free a little bit on an out pattern.
Well, they just try to go a hook and go to Calvin Mohammed, but it's very tough to get deep on the Eagles secondary. They just sit back and wait for the long passes. They're going to give you everything in front. They're not going to give you anything deep, especially in this situation with 41 seconds.
Didier comes wide to the left side. Monk and Mohammed in a slot to the right. Theismann needs at least 4 for a first down. Joe unloads, and he's got Jeff Moore out of the backfield. First down for the Skins. Dennis Harrison mixing it up way back upfield with number 73, Mark May, and May's got to hurry up and get back to the line of scrimmage.
Great execution on that last play. It's the hurry-up offense.
Jeff Moore's open again. Theismann goes to him, and Moore goes out of bounds and stops the clock at the 34-yard line. Roynell Young back under the coverage. They'll give him the short stuff.
16 seconds. The Redskins got to think about start throwing this football in the end zone. It might be Hail Mary time. They have 1 timeout left. They got to get a touchdown to tie this game up. Field goal doesn't help them.
Joe Gibbs, of course, so innovative with the offensive scheme of things. They do have a flea flicker in. You might look for some kind of a trick play, perhaps a quick out, then a lateral, something to catch the Eagles off guard. Mohammed left, Monk in the slot, Didier top of your screen. Just 16 seconds left. Didier, right corner of the end zone, no! He had a step on Ray Ellis.
Well, he had Roynell Young beat to the outside, and Ray Ellis comes over and gives him help. It's a great pass by Theismann and great effort by Didier, but Ray Ellis made the play. That time Theismann pumped it to the left and threw back to the right. They got the defense going left, moving left, and threw back to Didier on the right side. And luckily Ray Ellis did not bite on that pump fake, or it would have been 6 points for the Redskins.
Just 10 seconds left to go in this football game. The Redskins, co-leaders in the NFC East, need a touchdown to pull it out. 1 timeout remaining. The Cowboys being beaten in Buffalo. A scramble. Intercepted by Philadelphia at the 20-yard line by Albert Fowles. That is the 6th turnover the Redskins have committed here this afternoon. Philadelphia will go 5-6-1. The Redskins will go to 7-5. And that NFC Central is going to be a mess.
Well, again, he's working Art Monk, inside man, on this pass pattern and working him to the outside. We see Albert Fowles trailing him. Monk has nothing on the outside there, but Theismann tries to get it in. Nothing doing this time.
4 seconds left to go, but the Eagles avenging a 20-0 whitewash at RFK Stadium at the hands of Washington earlier this year. So Philadelphia goes to 5-6-1. The Redskins will drop down to 7-5. Dallas was being beaten by Buffalo. That means the Cowboys would be 7-5. The Giants were beating Philadelphia. Brent and Herb will have scores, standings, and highlights coming up on the NFL postgame show. It's been a wild and woolly one here, and it's a wild day around the NFL. Ron Jaworski will fall on the ball, and this game is just about into the record books. The Eagles win by 6. The difference in the game, 3 field goals by the rookie Paul Mcfadden and an 89-yard kickoff return by the rookie out of Cheney State, Andre Waters. Philadelphia by 6 against the Skins. We'll return to a sold-out Veterans Stadium in just a moment. Back at the Vet, the Eagles by 6 against the Redskins. I'm Jim Kelly. Drew Pearson alongside. A gritty performance by Philadelphia defensively, forcing 6 turnovers by the Redskins.
Well, it's a great defensive effort by the Philadelphia Eagles. It's like the Philadelphia Eagles defense of old. They give you a lot of yardage, but they wouldn't break. They really held tough, and they really put some pressure on Joe Theismann and made it tough for him this afternoon.
Theismann 3 interceptions, Riggins with 2 fumbles, 6 turnovers altogether, 124 yards in penalties against the Washington Redskins, the most by a Joe Gibbs coach team. 16-10, the Eagles on top over the Redskins. The NFL postgame show continues. We go to New York, and